It's time for our last quarterfinal of the Pro League Season 10 Finals, live to you from here in Tokoname, Japan. It's been a long day of Siege action. I hope you're still with us wherever you're joining us around the world or here in Tokoname. Two more teams then fighting for a spot in tomorrow's incredible semi-finals. Are we going to get every region represented? This match will let us know. And the team who want to get there to proudly represent Brazil, it's Ninjas in Pyjamas! NIP! And their opponents, the second seed out of NA, that are Team Reciprocity! Welcome to the quarterfinals, Team Reciprocity! A lot of support here in Japan for both of these teams. We see you, we see your banners, we see your flags, we see your support, Japan. Arigato for that. Give these teams everything you have for the last spot in the semi-finals. Team Reciprocity and NIP!
Thank you very much, Matt. And here we are. Yes, indeed, Reciprocity versus NIP with an asterisk. We'll talk about that in a few moments. Our final matchup of the evening, our best of three series. We've had a very long day so far where the first three matches is taking its toll on all the players, on, of course, our viewers so far here in Tokoname, as it has gotten a bit late, but also on us as well. But you know what? It's all been completely worth it as the games have been absolutely mental. Airwolf are in the semifinals, and now Reciprocity, technically, they have an easier shot to making it to the semifinals.
And I don't think they're happier for it, actually.
Very true.
I think Reciprocity wanted to face a seriously well-established and formidable opponent. And there's still an opportunity to have a serious fight here for NIP, but there's always going to be that overshadowing this match.
I mean, not only that, if they win it, it doesn't feel like that much of a victory.
Yeah.
If they lose it, you feel like a fool. So this is a really tough game to go into, because the asterisks that you're talking about is that NIP is playing with two subs that were flown in today.
It's so close that NIP did not really have a media day, and this is why we didn't show their recap video as we saw with every other team, because they literally landed this morning and their match had to be rescheduled to allow for the players, jet-lagged, tired off of their 10+ hour flight to get here to Nagoya, to just at least rest and be able to practice.
Not to mention language barrier. I mean, these Brazilians, they do not speak the same language as these Spanish guys.
They're Spanish guys, but they're from closer to Portugal. It's a different accent, different acronyms. But Goga as well is an example of this. If you've seen Goga at events, he can speak very well with the Brazilian players and Brazilian fans. It's just not the exact same thing. And even then, you're comparing Portugal to Brazil, there's still a pretty decent difference.
And I mean, we're not talking about having a lovely conversation over a cup of coffee where it doesn't matter if you make a mistake. Every mistake, every 2 seconds that you have to think about what word you're looking for, you're losing a player, you're losing a round. And even that, how could they possibly have gotten ready in terms of any strats? You can tell them, okay, you got to be in this place, you got to put your drone here, this is what we're looking to achieve. But from that to actually have any kind of time to practice or dry run anything, there is no way that they're even remotely ready for that.
And every single Pro League team also has different specific calls for that team, because the game doesn't tell you this plant spot is called that, this plant spot's called that. Every team makes up their own calls for that. These two Spanish guys, they would have no clue what the calls are for the rest of NIP.
Yeah, and we'll dig deeper into that a bit later. It's a bit difficult for us to explain, as this is literally the first time something like this has ever happened. We'll dig deeper into it. But first, cool video was made already for Reciprocity, so hey, why not take a look at it?
We feel really good. I mean, we're super confident coming here. We've had our, our ups and downs, kind of slow paces, kind of falling behind, then jumping back into it. But we've really become more disciplined throughout the half of the split of the season, and coming into this and qualifying, I mean, we're definitely more than ready for it, for sure. We definitely been grinding pretty hard to prepare for this event and changing some strats and getting things ready definitely for the teams here. Our goal for this event is to definitely dominate this event and then carry this over into the next events for the future of Rainbow. It's definitely North America's event this season, so we're gonna come here, we're gonna do what we gotta do, and we're gonna come out on top.
Reciprocity, of course, taking a bit of a dive and a bit of an exploration of the Tokoname Pottery District that's only a couple of tramway stops away from us here, so we should be doing more of these city advertisements, right, gentlemen? But here we are. Reciprocity, they're ready. They haven't really played a pro league or major LAN in quite a while. They haven't really been able to do much during them as well to really knock beyond the group stages or even into the quarters. We've seen them performing very well at 6 Invitational, but that's very much in the past. It's not really a big point of contention that we can really talk about.
They're facing one of the problems going into this, that their prep work isn't going to be that viable either.
Correct.
So overall, like this is one of those matches where we can talk a little bit about what the teams have done in the past, what it was that they might have looked at trying to achieve in this game, how they would ban, what maps they would play. But it's such a big factor that they aren't actually playing against the team they prepared for.
Yeah, Reciprocity, I think on paper, like that's going to be a huge factor, but let's say we didn't have that situation. On paper, even without this, I think Reciprocity is the favored team. Three things come to mind. Firstly, the head-to-head. Reciprocity versus Ninjas in Pyjamas was at the 6th Invitational in the group stage. Reciprocity knocked out NIP. It was a 2-1. NIP won the first map. Reciprocity came back second map 7-0 and then dominated from there on out. The momentum swung in their favor. That's what we know them for.
And they've mentioned they're more disciplined now than they used to be.
Oh, yes.
Which I don't think is any secret. That used to be a pretty big issue for them. They didn't have the, I don't know what to call it, except for discipline. They were lagging playing for the victory instead of playing for show.
Yeah, and I think I mentioned one head-to-head. Secondly, this is the only team that has champions on this team.
Exactly.
2 of these players, Laxing and Skies, champions of the 2017 6th Invitational on Xbox. Retro champions from Year 1 Season 3 on Continuum. That's the only champions we have at this event. The only one who's lifted a trophy like that before. And, well, on top of the head-to-head victories against NIP and the fact that Reciprocity, like you said, disciplined, looking to be in top form, on paper, this should absolutely swing their favor.
Yeah, and of course, Reciprocity are bringing in Fox, Retro, Laxing, Mark, Skies. This is the lineup that we usually see online, and they definitely have been dominating in North America. Had a close run with EG, though, a few points separating them, well, really a few rounds separating them in the online season. It's
a bit of a miracle that Reciprocity are actually here. Like you said, it's 2-round difference because they beat EG 7-3, but they also lost to EG 7-5. Those 2 rounds head-to-head is the only reason Reciprocity is here right now.
I mean, you're never here because of luck.
No,
but yes,
every round counts.
Every round counts, even online.
That's why, you know, that round that you saved at one point to have that tactical timeout might come back and bite you later. There's way more to every round than what people really think. Because if you're only making it here because of 2 rounds different, that could have been playing safer just 1 more round.
It's a scary prospect, but Laxing said it himself. This is North America's event, especially now that Giants are out of the picture. I think most people are looking to Dark Zero to be the champions of this season of Pro League. Reciprocity are also up there with arguably one of the easiest quarterfinal matches. We could absolutely see an all-North American grand final. At the very least, we want a second one into the semis.
All right, we can compare 2 big players here on these 2 teams. Of course, NIP's roster is not complete. We've yet to talk about this, but here we are. Player comparisons are at least 2 players that have been existing or playing throughout this season. Muzi and Laxing. You can tell those KDRs are definitely way up there, and the two have had quite a few opening kills. But NIP, they've had some games in LATAM when they were super dominant, and then others where it was one kill after the other, traded round after the other, and it ended up in a bit of a suffering for them as we got so close to the end of the season. That's when they started messing around, so to speak, and really the final play day was what solidified them. Remember the second to last play day, 13.
I mean, they both have pretty damn good stats. We're looking at 59 positive on kills, and then I think it was 39. It's standing out, right?
Yeah, NIP are a team that, kind of similar to Giants, they perform really well in the online phase, not so well at the majors. They've been eliminated in groups twice now, Raleigh and Six Invitational, but they had a really good performance at the minor, at the Allied Esports minor. They made it to the playoffs. In fact, they did beat Giants and Dark Zero in order to get there. So NIP is a team that we've seen really good things out of. It's just a question of whether they can replicate that with the subs.
I really want to kind of recap this roster as raw people you just saw Muzi, but there's Psycho, Muzi, and Pino that are the base that are playing on this team, but Barros and Polo are in. And for those that don't really know their names, Barros used to play in Pro League way back in the day. Polo has experience in competitive play in CL and, of course, in the Spanish Nationals, has both played quite a bit there under the Giants Spanish squad before they picked up this mixed European one that we saw playing in our previous matchup. Now, honestly, these are two players with experience, but it's been a long time since Barros played in Pro League, and coming here, it's kind of so many different barriers on top that's going to weigh NIP down, and I think we have to add the asterisk in saying every round you win is a victory on its own. Expectations are definitely at the lowest. And unfortunately, visas, again, are very complicated matters, especially if you're coming to Aichi here at Tokoname. It has its own asterisk involved with it.
We saw 9XT perform really well. A little bit harder for Polo and Barros to do the same, because they arrived today, and they're going to have to... I have no idea how you're going to challenge this, or try to solve this if you're NIP. Like, how do you even go into this? Do you make two groups? Do you have three of your players work together and then have Barros and Polo try to do whatever they can?
You know what's scary about this? Not just the fact that the Spaniards don't have quite as much experience as the players they're replacing, but talk about 2 out of 3 of the original players on this roster. 2 fundamental elements in Kamikaze and Julio. They're two guys we've known for such a long time. That's the heart and soul of this team.
Julio is such an insane player as well. Kamikaze has been doing work since the very first day that he's joined this team. At least the young kids are here and playing for the team. But we need 3 maps to play on in this series, so let's take a look at the map veto. I'll remind you, in a best-of-3 series like this, with a 7-map pool, it ends up being a ban-ban, pick-pick, ban-ban, and then the Cider. At the end, we'll have Coastline, picked by Reciprocity, Consulate, picked by NIP as map number 2, and our decider is Clubhouse. So here we are. There's our 3 maps.
Both Border and Cafe and the most banned maps by Rec, they have 11 bans exactly on each of them, which would make it 12 now. I think they're just trying to play it simple and safe. They're not wanting to give anything away here. They just want to win this match and then put everything that they've kind of hit for tomorrow.
Yeah, it's actually Reciprocity, the team that we expect to behave normally in this scenario. Yeah. It's NIP that we really want to highlight and say, what are you doing? What's normal? What's not normal? They didn't ban the Cafe. They left that for Reciprocity, and typically that has been a map they like to ban. They usually ban the Coast, but they actually let that in, and they'll be playing that. So this is a bit of a switch up from what we're used to seeing from NIP. Their first map pick was Consulate, which is not necessarily the best map, but it's up there. So this is... I like the fact that NIP coming into this match, you can't think, okay, let's play our normal game.
No, you cannot.
You cannot think that way.
And all the positions that you thought, at least 2 of the players are going to play in, how the structure is going to work there, you can pretty much throw that out.
Yeah, Julio is usually your anchor on the team, and suddenly, well, he's not even here. It throws all the strategy that you're used to out of the window, and we saw how FaZe Clan adapted around 9XT, putting him on different operators, even having him playing different positions, different ops on defense and offense, even sometimes having him on the Maestro. He did so much work on the ops, but here you have 2 players. It's even more complicated.
But I'd be terrified with replacing an anchor with 2 new players coming in, because you're going to lack the communication, so you don't know like really when you need to get back to site, when is the pressure, you don't have that synergy anymore. I'd much rather just tell them, go do your best, see how much you can get done, and then we're going to see what goes.
Talking so much about NIP, but Reciprocity are the ones, the onus is on them. And we know, we're talking about how NIP, they don't have a big strap book. They can't rely on players to play pivotal anchor positions because that just doesn't work when you're subbing players in. It's on Reciprocity to predict that and change their playstyle to address that. Reciprocity are not a team that we know to have a versatile playstyle. They so consistently play chemically, play off each other, the 5 flex man roster, running out of windows. Are they going to start to change that? Because maybe that's not actually the right playstyle to come up against NIP, who are out there just gunning for anything that they can find.
I think NIP is going to struggle more with adapting to anything that happens. So Reciprocity can probably run a pretty default setup. The second they lose 1 round, maybe 2 rounds doing that, then swap it up, maybe change a few things. But I don't think Reciprocity needs to look at doing anything special. They just need to play it, like if they play at 80% of what they're capable of, it should be an easy victory for them when it's set up like this, where you're not playing against the same opponent that you thought you were going to do.
Everything's being given to you, pretty much handed to you. There's no other way around it. I mean, we don't want to sugarcoat something that is so real and so in front of us. It's just a terrible situation to be in if you're NIP. Play your best, see what you can find. Reciprocity, they should be able to beat you. What do? Play whatever, do it. Look at Fnatic last year. We were in Rio, and what do we have? Dizzle coming in, replacing Magnet, showing to us that coaches can indeed play. And it's a good thing that Magnet stayed back home. Unfortunately, his medical condition and all of that, but they existed. They demolished NEG, and how did they do that? They took down a team that is so used to playing against these default setups, where they're also structured that when you throw that wrench in their entire plans, they just don't know how to react to you. And when they do, it just takes them so long, you can't really recover from it anymore.
I'm pretty sure in that game, Dizzle just pulled them inside and said, let's play like it's for ELO and not for money.
It's more important.
That's honestly what it looked like.
ELO is more important than money, that's for sure.
If I was NIP, I'd probably do that as well.
I mean, coming into this game, a lot of people are probably thinking, oh, lucky Reciprocity. They got the easy game. They get the freebie through the quarters. No, this is a lose-lose situation for Reciprocity. Either they win this game and nobody cares because they just beat the team that was a freebie anyway. They head into the semis and hopefully do a little bit better but against Na'Vi, or they lose this game.
And it would be the hardest loss of the entire event.
Yeah, and probably one of the hardest losses we have ever seen in Rainbow Six Pro League.
This would be literally the biggest upset of Pro League history.
What is the situation where NIP actually makes this work?
If they... I mean, every player just got to... I don't know, man. Unless every player shows up and frags out and it's nothing to do about real teamwork or anything, they just play a hell of a good round of Siege, then maybe.
You know what? Both of these teams are super emotional. They'll acknowledge that. Both of them are super momentum-based. That's how Reciprocity 7-0'd NIP at Invitational and went on to win Map 3. As soon as it starts to slip away for Rec, that's when the lights turn on for NIP.
Okay, let's start talking theory for just a moment, at least that sort of theory. Let's bring it back to a more realistic one. Let's talk about the maps for a moment. Coastline is the first one up. We've seen Coastline in previous series. We've seen what operators could be brought and what could be banned. Is there something that NIP can do here to really shut down Reciprocity? Looking at Reciprocity's history of ops on this side.
Well, at least it's small enough of a map where you can live off gunfights, which is really different or difficult on some of the bigger maps. You need more control. Here, you don't have to worry too much. If you have either garden, depending on which bomb site it is, of course, if you have a little bit of garden control, lobby control, you can move around and try and frag your way out of it, which is not going to be the case on any of the other maps they're going to play.
It's actually the most recent map that both of these guys played in the Pro League, and both of them won it. Reciprocity 7-5 against LG, and NIP won it 7-2 against FaZe. So that's a real good match. Honestly, what I want to see is I want to see a crazy ban. I want to see a Jaeger ban again. I want to see just get crazy. Just play some Finker. Do it the Latin American way. Play on your own terms.
Okay, scoreline for this first map. Let's be more specific in rounds.
I'm not even going to gamble that. If I was NIP, every single round would be a victory in itself.
7-0 Reciprocity. Everything that NIP gets is a victory.
All right.
Oof.
Finally, James.
Someone's got to say it, man. Someone's got to say it.
It's taken a while, but James is definitely in here. Thank you very much, gentlemen, for all your information analysis with what little we could really talk about here with the NIP. It's time to get this show on the road. Our final series begins, and it's on Coastline, Ninjas in Pyjamas versus Team Reciprocity. Let's get this game on the road. Tokonami, are you ready? Hajime!
Thank you very much, Gassan. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the desk. And of course, we had to rip off Parker and Michael and put on the bomber jackets.
The ad worked. The ad just worked.
It did.
I had to buy it.
Of course the ad worked. But welcome in. It's Ninjas in Pyjamas against Team Reciprocity. Obviously, the desk went over it. I'm done talking about the subs. NIP, if you're going to win, you got to show up right now. It's right here. It's right now. This is your shot. Ignore the crap that's going on. Just straight up win. Reciprocity obviously also going to have a lot of fandom here in Japan. They have a big fan base here in Japan. The locals, honestly, I saw them lining up out the door to get a signing session with them. So the crowd's going to be on Rec's side. Obviously, everything is against NIP. The first two maps on the list, I would say, tend to favor Reciprocity. For NIP, this is your underdog shot. We saw Wildcard take at the distance and come inches short. We saw Aerowolf just dethrone the Giants and be the Giant Slayers, as Parker mentioned. It's a beautiful opportunity. Let's see if they can take advantage.
I mean, especially going into the maps, Flynn. Ninjas in Pyjamas have banned Bank 14 times in the last 6 months. They've only played it once. How do you VOD review that? You don't. That's what they're looking for. They want to go to these maps that they don't have any VOD on. They're just going to play it as green can get and see if it works out for them. You don't really need strats when you have two people that have never played with you before.
So it looks like we were almost ready to get underway, and someone on the Rec side dropped. So we're going to be stalling here for a moment. I think for Coastline, honestly, Coast has been such a weird map already today. The upsets, the fragging potential, some weird bomb site selections in terms of rotation, and even a Pen Theater defense every now and again. It's been an interesting look to see on Coastline. Consulate's been a little more cut and dry. We saw that earlier today between FaZe and Dark Zero, and that seems like it was 2 days ago, but here we are still wrapping up the last quarterfinal. For Ninjas in Pyjamas, honestly, I don't really want to focus on just the subs. I think the whole team just has to play and swing above their weight class right now, because obviously, very big disadvantage here for NIP. For Reciprocity, though, I don't think anything changes. You still play your game because they're a very reactive team, right? They head in, they do a little bit of research, they'll try and get a gauge on what you like to do, but for the most part, yeah, they are a very reactive team. They're not as prepared as some teams like Dark Zero or like the Giants.
Yeah, and I mean, looking at Reciprocity, you really expect them to just play like that. I mean, they're a team that doesn't really change their play style according to who's across from them. They're going to do what they want to do, and you either respect that or you shut it down. We've seen quite a few people try and go for the latter, and it really hasn't worked out for them. But a very interesting notation here is that two maps that we're going to be starting off with, Flynn, are actually two of the most banned maps by Ninjas in Pyjamas. Not the most banned is Cafe, but Coastline banned 12 times and Bank banned 14 in the last 6 months. So again, this is very, very weird going into this.
It is. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we're ready to get back underway. The Ninjas in Pyjamas will start things off on the attacking side with Team Reciprocity beginning our ban phase and starting on the defense. For Coastline to begin things, again, it might be a little shaky to start things off for NIP, but they start on the attack where you kind of get to run around and have some more fun. The Lion Band coming up from Rec, I'm not shocked, honestly. That's a bit of a crutch that NIP could lean on should they choose to. We saw FaZe doing that at the beginning of the day, sticking 9XT on the Lion as well. Just as you're a flank holder, you press the button when we need you to press the button, and that's your job.
There you go.
If you can complicate things for Polo and Barrage as much as possible, that's a good look there for Rec. We're going to lose the Thatcher as well. That's been a mainstay almost all day.
Yeah, especially in LATAM, but as you were pointing out earlier, a little bit of a misread there. Bank was the first ban by Ninjas in Pyjamas, so apologies for that. But still, an extremely often ban for the likes of Coastline. But again, with the best of 3 format, it's kind of pick your poison.
It is, and for NIP, like you said, these are, at least, Coastline for Latin America as a whole, at least in their own region, not fans of it. When they go interregional, they play it a little bit more than never, but that's about it. We're going to get a Vigil ban from Rec. I mean, okay. I'm sorry, that's a little bit out there.
Yeah.
I can't recall the last time I've seen a Vigil ban.
Vigil is extremely niche. That's the thing that's really just dropping my jaw right now, is that he has to have utility behind him to back up his playstyle. You really can't just pick Vigil and he does it all. You want to have, you know, your Mozzie, your Mute, something else along with him in order to make him as effective as he can possibly be. So, you know, I'd much rather see, to be completely honest, a Mozzie ban in that place.
Yeah, I was going to say the pick rate for Vigil has really plummeted off the face of the earth ever since Mozzie's come out, and it's because Mozzie is just a better roaming Vigil. You know, Vigil has very selfish utility. His utility doesn't help the rest of the team. Mozzie's does. You can share that utility. Anyone can hop on those drones when you capture them. The Nitro Cell, much more beneficial than impact grenades when you have a lot of secondary shotguns these days. Speaking of a secondary shotgun, Mozzie also has one of those, and two pretty awesome primary weapons that you can choose from. Do you want the rate of fire? Do you want the better damage? Laxing is going to take away or opt to take the damage benefit. We've seen the Roni come out today for the higher rate of fire. That's Mozzie. He's just good all around. Or you could take Nitro Cell, or sorry, if you can take Barbed Wire if you opt not to take the Nitro Cell. What is going on, Lax?
I believe Lax is tabbed out for a second. I think it was just fixing something inside of his team speak there.
There you go.
Got that all squared away now. Reciprocity is ready to play. No tech pauses. We are all good. So, long run ahead of us, folks. It's currently 9:53 local time PM. That's not AM. So, it's going to be a long one, Flynn. We might actually be here till 1 AM.
If this goes the distance, then we might be, but so be it. That's quarterfinals day for you. And for NIP, honestly, going 3 maps, that would be a victory in and of itself. But like I said, it's time to put up or shut up. No more complaining, no more worrying about the situation. Just deal with it. Come here, try and win outright. There's nothing more he can do to rectify the situation. Polo going to be starting with Diffuser in hand as well. And I really want to see how Polo and Badarosh play off of each other. Fox can be droned out inside of security hallways. It looks like it's Badarosh to be pushing in behind that drone. 2 drones dispatched by Fox A. He'll put down a Legion Mine as well. Instead, it was Pino, sorry, on that F2. Turns the corner, but Fox A will win it out. Skies has been down, though, inside of the kitchen hallway to trade out by Psycho. So there he goes on the Buck, an often operator, another one that's banned by Latin America quite often. And now Fox A pinned in the corner, and there goes Polo to take them down. Good start there for the substitute player for NIP.
Yeah, you didn't think that that was going to go Fox's way, but it's the Reciprocity way. Laxing going to continue to force this envelope home, and Ninjas and Pyjamas now on equal footing with Reciprocity. Laxing with a double on the round, and what else would you expect from him? Mark on cool vibes, but it's going to be Laxing again. That's going to be a triple. Pola gonna be all by himself now. Frag grenades in hand, gonna dump another one over. Might be able to get a kill. Almost kills himself, actually. It is a soft wall that was to his left. Could have possibly been able to actually murder himself out, but no, it doesn't even matter. It's gonna be Laxing with 4. He's already getting out of his chair. Name something that sounds more NA.
Round number 1 for Laxing, but he goes off the charts with a 4-bang there. Fox A getting the opener as well, in a situation that he probably should not have won that engagement, so Pino getting a little caught off guard there. It's good to see Pino back in the rotation as well, and we're going back to kitchen and service now for our second defense. For that round there, honestly, it was the roam. The roam was so strong there for Reciprocity, and the roam clear so ineffective from NIP. I didn't know what the bomb site was, and I never cared to check.
Yeah,
that was a hookah defense, by the way, if anyone clocked that, because I certainly didn't.
I'm in the exact same boat as you, my friend. I never looked, and I just assumed, hey, we're probably kitchen with how this is going. Never looked up, never did anything, and you really didn't need to, because every single kill happened on the bottom floor.
Yeah, look at him. He's trying to hype up the crowd, and I mean, right now, if you're Reciprocity, why wouldn't you? You've got the crowd's favor right now. Like I said, Rec has a huge following here in Japan compared to almost every other NA team, and just take advantage of that while you can. Get the crowd behind you, what's left of the crowd. By the way, like we said, it's 9:30 at night. A lot of people have gone home, so it's going to be a little quieter in here, a little bit more, I guess, moody than eccentric like we've seen earlier on today. But I must give a massive shout out to all the Japanese fans that have come out. You guys have been massively incredible with your volume, your cheering, your support for all the teams, regardless of region. It's been quite the impressive showing, especially with no Japanese teams present playing.
It's something we've talked about for a very long time, and I finally feel like the Rainbow Six scene in general is getting it. You can cheer for your team. You can make noise. It's perfectly fine. You're not in your bedroom. It's not weird. It's okay. Don't worry about it. And it's just, I love it, man. I love it. Every single time that we get crowd reaction, you can feel it in your chest. It just makes your heart happy. But for Ninjas in Pyjamas, they're definitely not going to be feeling that. As again, we have to talk about that asterisk just a little bit. They're down 2 of their main players, Baraz as well as Polo, and my brain almost defaulted to Paula earlier for just a second as I saw the name and it was like, oh no. So Ninjas in Pyjamas now, though, you can see that their lineup over the last 2 rounds is more of an aggressive lineup. Obviously, they're rocking the Dokkaebi, but the 2 things I want to make as a focal point are obviously the Twitch and the Ash. They want to try and get in the face of Reciprocity, and that seems to really be the only manner that they can possibly take. Adding any more structure is not going to work out in your favor, but Reciprocity continues to take these aggressive peaks.
You know, we talk about TSM a lot, but their 3-headed monster. Honestly, Reciprocity's in the same boat. Sky is getting an early double here in an attempted rush into the bomb site. Shut down in its tracks, and that's 3 on the round now for Skies. Looking to make it a flawless round. It's just Muzi left alive now on the Ash upstairs in VIP. The bomb site, once again, neglected for the most part there, as it is Kitchen, to the surprise of many. Holding inside of VIP will be Muzi, as he's got a lot to contend with. Sky's on about 20 HP, was planning in behind the Lambo desk, and he's got 1 to contend with inside of Theater. Another one rotating through luggage upstairs. Sounded like a Nitro cell went off on the floorboards, not in the same area code as Muzi, but losing 50 HP to the member inside of luggage, and there it goes. Flawless round there for Reciprocity, and the wheels are falling off the track kind of quickly here for Nip.
Yeah, we're not even at a detour right now. It's kind of a car crash, isn't it? Yeah. But Ninjas in Pyjamas, I mean, here's the thing. What do you tell them? Because there's nothing here you can just go, oh, this is terrible. They're not doing this. They're not doing that. I mean, again, you have 2 people in that don't know the team. They just don't know. And the thing is for Nip is that they lost the core of the roster. That's the rough thing going into this. And when you're playing against a roster like Reciprocity, who has the most aggressive roam style inside of North America, you're going to have a bad time.
The thing with Reciprocity is, for NIP, they're trying to be unpredictable. You can see Pino, rushing into the bomb site through kitchen door without clearing anything, just trying to get picks on site to cause havoc on the side of Rec. That's not a thing that's really going to benefit you against Rec. They are so reactive and quick on the fly. There's not a lot that trips them up. They're a very, very adaptable team. They're malleable, honestly. They are never rigid. They are constantly changing and evolving all the time. That's honestly one of the best factors that make them one of the better teams in North America. The 2nd seed coming in here against NIP. I mean, if this had happened to NIP against another team that was a little more rigid, maybe against Dark Zero, although we saw FaZe also fall a little bit short there, maybe you'd have a better chance at playing that unpredictable play style, but honestly, this is just not the team you're going to get away with making those weird plays with. Rec is going to read you and react on the fly, as they always do for every team they play. This is every day in the park for Rec right now.
Reciprocity is the embodiment of be like water, my friend. They shape into whatever they need to in order to achieve victory. And they were able to prove that once again throughout the entirety of the North American Pro League season. Granted, they cut it very close. It was very dangerous near the end. But they're in Japan. They're playing on the stage right now. And it doesn't seem like they're slowing down. Even though Ninjas in Pyjamas is down 2 people, Reciprocity is not changing up the game plan. The game plan is dominate.
Always has, and it always will be. Barrows looking to go in for an Aquarium push. Solo on the Jackal. I mean, I don't hate that play. I would like to see Barrows and Polo try and, group up a little bit. If anyone's unfamiliar with the language dynamic, if you missed the intro from the analyst desk, Barrows and Polo speak Spanish, while the rest of the NIP team obviously speaks Portuguese, as they're from Brazil. So there is a little bit of overlap there in the languages, but not entire overlap. So it's going to be them trying to work as a duo, and the original members of NIP trying to be a trio and try and do their own individual tasks. It seems like Barrows and Polo right now are playing incredibly solo, though. I'd like to see them group up a little bit more and try and be a bit more of a dynamic duo to try and influence some of these rounds. Right now, they just seem so separated, and all of NIP seem very separated and just trying to be a superstar on their own. And we can talk about the situation ad nauseum, but for right now, NIP, I don't know, I think grouping up a little bit and trying to play trades would benefit a little bit better in this kind of chaotic situation.
I believe that's really the only thing that you can do is try and play for trades, group up. I mean, worst case scenario, what happens? You lose the map. I mean, at that point, who really cares, to be completely blunt with you? Gonna have some vertical pressure now coming through. Oh, Retro right on the tailcoats of Psycho. Not enough damage to be able to claim the kill, but just enough to let him go, hi, fight. I know you're there. Don't worry about it. Minute remaining now, though, as Pino will actually get the opening frag this time around. That's onto Retro. That'll be the smoke removed as he actually rotated over towards the bottom of Cool Vibes. Sky's inside of Kitchen, but his angle's already been cut off. He tries to challenge out, but Sky's, his entire Reciprocity roster, just not scared of any gunfight.
We got an entrance into Sunrise now, which is the bomb site. Mark and Skies trying to work their way out of Kitchen. Laxing as well, coming through the Kitchen hallway outside. So 3 members of Reciprocity caught off guard. There goes Moosey trying to go for a solo entry in the back. Skies bursts his way out of the Cool Vibe stairs. The plant attempted twice for Polo, and he pulls off consecutively. He'll get the kill into Laxing, though, and no trade coming out. 2 big kills, 3 big kills for NIP. It's Skies alone in the 1v3 situation as Polo will try and get the bomb down in behind the couches and shut down. NIP will get themselves on the board at the very least. Beautiful frags back to back to back there for the Ninjas as they stay alive here.
Reciprocity caught sleeping on the information game. You really didn't see anything come through for them on that front, and it shows. Ninjas in Pajamas able to just walk into sight and start trying to put a diffuser down, forcing them to rotate over towards Sunrise. You already have Kitchen as well as Cool Vibe control, and that's really all you need. They have to try and move in through that area in order to get to the site, and you bag a couple free kills, and all of a sudden you have your first round.
All starts with a little bit of momentum here for NIP, as honestly we've seen a lot of upsets today. Whether or not Wildcard came away with the victory or not, that was still quite the upset in terms of round count. Top coverage here from Psycho really being the difference maker. Just not a lot of presence upstairs there for Rec, and NIP taking advantage, pushing into the freedom that was the bomb site. Lots of roaming over by that kitchen and the kitchen hallway there. 3 members of Reciprocity, all caught off by 1 flank hold on Cool Vibe stairs. It's a dangerous game to be playing for Rec, but they're no stranger to playing on that knife's edge. Still a 2-1 lead here for Reciprocity, and they're not going to try and reattempt the Sunrise and Blue Bar bomb site. They're going to go back upstairs to Hookah, where we began with that roam that made us forget that the bomb was even Hookah, as all 5 kills came downstairs.
And again, I think that the main thing for Reciprocity is that going into this matchup, you don't need to reinvent the wheel. Just do what you're good at, and you're more than likely going to win the game. I think that the only thing that they got caught lacking on in that last round was that info game. You're able to patch that up, bring it back. I mean, we even had Retro die pretty early on, but it still seemed like they didn't have any positional awareness of where Ninjas in Pajamas were. So again, if they patch that up, I really feel like this is going to go back to being very dominant rounds by Reciprocity. But it always could go the way of Ninjas in Pajamas if they're able to continue just getting directly onto site. That was the game plan the last time around. Don't try and go for a roam clear. Don't try and play into the hand of Reciprocity. Just go directly to the site, try and get a diffuser down, play the objective, and see how it works out.
In terms of the operator lineup for NIP, I was much more favoring of Polo on the Nomad, considering how much that Rec are roaming. You know, they're typically only sticking 1 to 2 people on the bomb site. Speaking of the bomb site, Pino tries to walk on in again, but it'll be crossed up. Barrows will at least trade out Foxay off site. Now the Ash charge coming out onto the wall. Psycho's got to back off pretty quickly there. He's going to take some team damage, but quick trades back and forth. You lose the Buck for the Legion early on, a demise there for Foxay. You also have Barrows with no shotgun on the Jackal, so that might be a situation of maybe not fixing all the attachments in time. But the drones will come out, and he'll check his backside, leave a flank drone for the dead Pino to watch for him. It's a solo push over towards Aquarium right now for Barrows, as the rest of NIP coalescing outside of VIP and the Hookah balcony. It's kind of like a 3-pronged push here for NIP.
Yeah, a little bit more sophisticated than we expected, but it could always work out. ADSs are going to eat up the frag grenades of Psycho. We do saw Apollo alive, always does have those logic bombs in hand. He could possibly have 1 more. I don't believe we've seen a phone call just yet, so could possibly have 2 as well. Definitely has some Jackal scans still in his pocket, and that's going to be Barras rocking that. But now things have started to slow down, and Ninjas in Pajamas are not getting these gunfights that they want. Retro will take 1, and he's going to bag it. It's going to be Moosey. Barras had traded out on an extremely long angle with the ACOG throw all the way out on Aquarium Balk. Smoke grenades now pouring in. We still have a minute remaining as well. Ninjas in Pajamas have to choose which bomb site they want to try and attack. Are you going to go for the standard Aquarium, or are you going to go for the Hookah balcony? It seems like they're going to go for the latter, but Retro's going to shut him down. That's going to be a triple in the round for him already. The last 2 remaining members outside, 1 on Aquarium. Seems like the other one has rotated his way into Mudroom.
Psycho's going to head, downstairs and through Sunrise. Laxing still holding Cool Vibe stairs. I don't think he's aware of Psycho's entrance, but Skies will take down Polo. So the man downstairs with the SMG-11 in hand, with the last man standing for NIP as he tries to retreat up the Cool Vibe stairs. Seems like Laxing has a beat on him as he's staring down the stairwell, and he'll decapitate him as his head peeks over the railing. See Retro getting a little hyped up there. A big round for Retro on the smoked out round, and Reciprocity, all cylinders firing. They get back on track with another round in the bag. They take the 3-1 lead now to start things off on Coastline. We've seen some rounds or round advantages on Coastline be surrendered pretty swiftly, honestly. It's I don't think it's a clean sweep just yet, but Retro, big performer on the round there. And I will say, I like NIP's change here for, okay, barring Pino's attempted rush into the bomb site for the last couple rounds, common reminiscent of Citizens fails on Clubhouse for 3 straight rounds.
Yeah, it's not something you want to see.
But I think for NIP, the first round, they learned their lesson. Okay, we're going to try and roam clear. All right, we don't know how to roam clear properly with this lineup, so we're going to abandon that and try and get a little site-centric. And I like that. You know, if you ignore the roam with how much Rec are roaming, bring that Nomad, like I said, for Polo. Right now he's still rocking the Dokkaebi, but if you isolate site and make Reciprocity constantly retake back onto their own bomb site, it's going to get tiring for Rec. And for NIP, you might be able to squeak a couple rounds here and there off of Reciprocity's constant smothering of map control. They love real estate. They love holding every inch of the map and constantly challenging your possible entry in those 1v1s because they're very confident in their gunplay. For NIP, I mean, again, I think attacking the site directly is good. I think Pino walking into bomb site 30 seconds in is not good. So alterations could be made here for NIP, but I like the trend they're going with right now.
Yeah, that's the one rough thing about Rainbow Six in general is that it's a complete team game. You can drop every frag in the world and you'll still lose a map. It doesn't matter. So when you lose 2 main members like that, you kind of just have to set one objective and go, okay, this is our main focus for the entire match. We're objective-centric. We just want to put that diffuser down, and that's our game plan. Reciprocity is obviously going to do Reciprocity. That's how they've always played, and that's what we've been talking about this entire time. But on a side note, looking back at it, Flynn, Reciprocity's bans, I believe the visual was taken away because they took away the Lion, and they didn't want something that could possibly counter Lion. Or actually, no, that doesn't even make sense either.
No,
just saying that out loud. So, like, again, that does beg the question. Like, I'm still stuck on this. I'm trying to figure it out. I'm trying to put the pieces together. Because you took Vigil out after you already banned Lion, which is the counter, like, okay.
I mean, NIP does play a decent amount of Vigil, I would say slightly more than other teams or slightly more than the average, but outside of that, I mean...
Is it something that you would highlight and go, this is important?
Not really. There's other operators. A drop to the hatch, though. I don't think that was intentional, but Psycho still picks up a kill for it. Walking into the bathroom now. Barrows will take down Laxing as well. There's a man in the bomb site, but Retro will shut him down, thankfully, for Reciprocity. That was danger territory, but Muzi will trade out Marks, announced down to the 4v2 here. NIP looking in control once again. Foxay going for a flank upstairs. A peek from Retro will be his 6-foot under grave, as now it's just Foxay alone in a 1v4. Pushing down the kitchen hallway, not on the bomb site. It's the perfect entry opportunity for NIP to push into the service doorway, as vaulting into the courtyard will be Fox. On the Valkyrie, already expending his Nitro Cell and not connecting with it. The phone call will ring out as the man on main stairs will be holding it. It'll be Barros to cut him down with that C7E to 20 HP as he retreats on the 180 and tries to re-engage, but there he goes. Barros will shut it out, and there we're trading rounds back and forth as we've seen on Coast all day long. NIP still well in the fight.
Ninjas and Pyjamas is doing a very good job, as we were talking about earlier, just setting the objective and saying, this is our game plan. This is all we're going for. Just do whatever you got to do to make this successful. And so far, it's been working out for them. They just need to drive this home. As for Reciprocity, it still seems like they're just lacking inside of that information department, and that might be why they're shifting things over to the Pulse onto Foxay, which, inside of North America, he's kind of known for his Pulse play, specifically for his very weird setup on the UMP45. He runs red dot, angled grip, and extended barrel. A couple of things that we don't see very, very often, specifically the red dot side. Sorry to put you on blast like that, David.
No, you're good. So, yeah, that drop there from Psycho was the one thing that kind of, like, threw me off. I don't actually know if it was intentional, but he dropped onto the mute that was playing inside a lobby, got the kill and pushed into the bomb site. If he picked up Retro as well, that's just free site control, because again, Rec only playing one man on site, and that's Retro always on the smoke. Looks like Sky's taking on the smoke, so Retro is actually going to swap off as I say that, just to make me look like an idiot, and we're going to be going to defense of...
Penthouse.
We are Pen defense, yeah.
Well, Mira's up.
That's fair.
So
that's fair.
That's usually how it goes. Check box. Is Mira up? No. Okay, we can't play Pen. Check box. Is Mira up? Yes. Okay, cool. We can play Pen, unless your name's Wildcard. That's about it.
There you go. Yeah, Wildcard was play it regardless. So for oh, is that a prone spawn peek through the Lamborghini doorway?
Did you just say Lamborghini doorway?
I did say Lamborghini doorway. Yeah, it looks like someone from right there was going to get a little cheeky through the bottom of the door. You can also get on top of the desk, and it was Retro looking down through the bottom of the double barricade there, but didn't spot any feet, so he's going back to it though. And that's the thing, Reciprocity never afraid to take chances and take shots at their opponents, regardless of who's on the opposite side of the field from them. Right now for NIP, they've done well, honestly, to contain themselves and get a little more site-oriented, not getting caught up in a lot of the roam and honestly avoiding a good majority of it. For Psycho now pushing downstairs, trying to open up and wait for any rotations. That's the thing, Reciprocity seem a little antsy right now. You know, they seem like they're constantly moving. They don't feel comfortable sitting still right now, and for how, honestly, for lack of a better term, erratic NIP are playing, I can understand it, but I think NIP are starting to read into this and really trying to counter it by sitting a little bit more still, waiting for these rotations, waiting for Rec to walk into them.
I think the main thing right now for Rec is that they just need to continue to play their game, continue to force the opposition to the outside of the map. And the main thing for them is, oh no, Laxing's going to get shut down. Fox with a trade. He recognizes out that they're going to try and pressure him into security door. They're coming from both angles. Can he win out some more? No, he can't. It's going to be a double for Psycho. And all of a sudden, this is looking like Reciprocity could possibly be in some treacherous territory. Retro's going to get caught out on the top of main stairs, a little bit of damage dealt to him, but not enough to be fatal just yet. Almost on equal footing here, but they're going to need one in order to find that equalizer. Psycho still has frag grenades in hand, but that doesn't seem like it's going to do too much unless it can extend its way down the hallway. Retro's going to find a unique angle inside of Vase and then delves right back into sight where he'll find his friend Mark, but he challenges back out, and that's going to be a double for Retro.
Beautiful work there for Retro to reestablish the man advantage. First equalizing, then putting his team up and evading the frag grenade. A second one being cooked and being launched in, but Mark with the beautiful one tap onto Polo. It's all Barrows left alone with the pistol and hand. The USP 40 and the swing from Mark will not connect until the bitter end. And that's gonna send us 4-2 into the half, and Reciprocity, they're feeling themselves once again.
And this is the danger of Reciprocity. It seems that the hot hand continues to change around this entire team, Flynn. They've always been like that. Foxay will pop off one round, then it goes to Laxing, then it goes to Retro, then it goes to Mark. I mean, for a team based in Vegas, they're definitely a lot of gamblers because they are always aggro. Sometimes it doesn't work out, but sometimes it goes exactly how that round went.
So, looks like we're gonna go to a technical pause. So there's something wrong. So we will wait until we correct whatever is wrong.
I think that's the best way to put that, yeah.
Yep.
Something is not working properly, so therefore we must fix it.
Production said I'm really good at describing things, so you know what, that's my new job.
They broke things. We now have to go to a technical pause.
Yeah, we'll fix it. It's a 4-2 half lead right now for Reciprocity, and hey, NIP hanging in it.
Mark's got to just be happy about that kill. Like, it was more than likely a misclick, so in that instance, probably just like, oh.
I'll take it.
Yeah, I mean, hey, I hit him in the head. That's all skill.
I think right now for NIP, you're still hanging with, and like I said, we've seen a lot of round advantages evaporate in a heartbeat on Coastline today, and in general, actually. Cafe started to slip away from Wildcard pretty quickly there, and Clubhouse as well for Na'Vi. I mean, there's been a lot of rounds so far that have been strung together by teams that were honestly underdogs, you know. Some people were saying, you know, don't call them the underdogs, give them a shot. I mean, they're underdogs, let's be honest. Reciprocity is the clear favorite in this game, and there's not much disputing that.
You got to call a spade a spade.
For Reciprocity, though, I think the key thing that's going to keep them ahead is everyone's firing on all cylinders right now. There's no weak point right now on Reciprocity. Sometimes when they're off a little bit, you can kind of see it. There's one person kind of lagging behind. When Reciprocity, all 5 members are clicking like this, it is a hard team to beat, even for some of the best teams in the world. This is kind of what we saw from them at the 6 Invitational as well, when they were firing on all cylinders. All 5 members of the team constantly going, never taking a round off, always with their foot pressed right up against the edge of the gas pedal. That's what pushed them past EG. I mean, honestly, for Reciprocity, when they're playing like this, it's hard for any team to beat them, let alone NIP with 2 subs.
It just begs the question, how much is Reciprocity going to flirt with this matchup? Because again, if you play with it too much, it could definitely not go the way you want it to, and Ninjas and Pyjamas could all of a sudden become some monster that you can't shut down. We know LATAM, and well, we really know their play style. It's an emotional play style. If they are able to gain leverage on you, they can just run 5 rounds in a row and the game's over.
I think the benefit for Rec is they're definitely on home field territory in terms of playing on Coastline and then heading to Consulate. Consulate will be a little more even, I imagine, in terms of experience on the map, but Coastline is just one of these maps that Latin America as a whole does not favor when they're playing regionally, when they're playing against other Latin American teams, and even inter-regionally, it's one of those maps that they pull out as kind of like a 50-50. It's not something that Latin America as an entire region or NIP specifically have ever truly excelled on as a map, whether it be regionally or inter-regionally. For Reciprocity, though, I mean, this is their hometown. They love Coastline. They run these fragging maps like it's their baby. And for Reciprocity right now, heading over to the attack, that's also where they feed a lot of their momentum off of. They love being on the attacking side and entering into unfamiliar territory. They're so reactive on the fly, and for NIP to be able to quell that and be able to honestly stay in pace with Reciprocity, they're going to have to mimic a lot of what Rec was bringing in terms of that roaming, lock down a lot of that map control, because if you can stall out Rec for a little while, you're going to be in a good spot when they try to convert for that site execute, which has given them trouble in recent days. For NIP, though, it's about getting to that point. It's about getting to that, 30-second mark on the clock, because not all these rounds have made it that far.
Well, the beauty of Coastline on the defense is that you can play extremely aggressive to the outside of the building because you can rotate so quickly throughout this map. I mean, you have 2 staircases, an entire empty section of the map right in the center that you can just hop into. There's so many different areas that you are able to path through in order to just play safely off of this aggression. And that's what Reciprocity traditionally does on this map. If Ninjas and Pyjamas can try and mimic the same thing, then we could see them start to rack up these defensive rounds. We're under 2 minutes now, as Reciprocity is poised to try and take over site. Doc's going to get lit up, but obviously it's Doc. He won't be lit up for too long, and the man that will be lit up is Retro as he finally gets confirmed by Muzi. Laxing with a refrag, mark to tag on. Oh no, it seems like the Reciprocity train is warming right back up, folks, as that's going to be 3 quick kills in the span of 5 seconds.
Looks like Psycho is trapped inside of Sunrise as well. Pino trying to support from inside of the lobby, but yeah, pinned now from the blue bar from Cool Vibe Stairs. Psycho's got nowhere to go. The diffuser was surrendered out there. I believe it was Retro carrying it when he dropped it when he died, but Mark has recovered, and now everyone bailing out of the blue bar. Looks like Reciprocity going for a wraparound. Sky's still holding from the blue bar door. There goes Pino on site, so now site control, diffuser control, still holding through the prone hole there. Psycho will blast him off, though. The nice shot onto Skies, hitting the deck and looking through the prone holes once again, but the plant gets completed in the post plant. There's really nothing to do there on the retake. Reciprocity, they overload into that clear on the far side, and NIP, the roam not paying off as many dividends as Reciprocity's roam was.
That's the issue with trying to battle into Reciprocity when they're on offense. You assume it's one man in a room, and then there's someone directly across from him already holding his rotate, and you're like, you guys just got into the building. You're immediately traded out, and then it just continues down that same path, and they just get kill after kill after kill. And then it's a 2 versus 5, and you're just holding your head in your hands going, okay, that should not have went that way. But as we continue on down the line, this is now going to be 5-2 in the favor of Reciprocity, and I really don't think that anyone is surprised at this time. As much as we want to try and give you guys all the love that we can possibly give you into this match and just imbue it with energy, we're trying our best over here, folks, we promise you.
It's just... it's kind of hard to watch NIP right now because they look so fractured.
I mean, you even look at their cameras, man. You look at their cameras, and Pino just looks like a husk of himself. He's just sitting there, you know? It's kind of a heartbreaker, I'm not going to lie to you.
It is. It is really sad to kind of see this, and like I said, they look very fractured, and it's to be expected because you got two guys not speaking the same language as the other three. And I don't even think, like, because they definitely haven't converted to English comms. None of the guys here on this team speak English very well, at least enough to communicate at the high rate of speed that you need to for a competitive match, especially on land here at a Pro League final. So they're sticking to half Portuguese, half Spanish right now, and the little overlap there is between the two, and it's clearly just not working out. They don't look like they're on the same page, and the one thing I was talking about in the green room before this game even started is if you play Barras and Polo as a duo and they die, if they die, they still can't relay. They can't be useful because they can talk, but it's going to take them a while to find the right words to say for comms. So putting them on cams is not as beneficial as it would be if it was a person speaking Portuguese, right? So what do you do then? Do you run in and die and then you can't really speak to them? You know, it's just communication is such a huge factor in Siege, and having them fracture between languages, you're definitely not at full strength. And it's showing in their gameplay right now.
I mean, could you possibly imagine, folks, having to play with two people that don't even speak the language that you speak? I mean, I've queued Western Europe and had to play with people that do not speak English. You just go, okay, well, I guess I kind of make the call out and just hope that they understand kind of what I'm saying. It's a very, very rough thing, and I don't think that there's any correction course that you can possibly take with that.
So I think Psycho took damage from guns before, but I don't know if he was close enough to actually take self-damage from that Nitrocell. He was trying to get Foxe off the window, but smart play there for Fox to get off the rappel immediately, wait for the Nitrocell, and now get back on. Clearing the ADS, and that frag grenade is going to down Barras as well. The Maestro in behind the hookah bar. The second one will be sent in, and it will confirm the kill. There goes Barras. There goes that Aldo removed from play. Smoke grenades coming out from Polo now as they put the two Spaniards on support roles now, try and let the NIP members run around and frag a little bit more as a trio. Reciprocity are going to have a little bit of trouble entering into Aquarium, as it looks like Retro has one to contend with inside of Aqua, and Nitrocell being primed, but not being launched out just yet. I imagine that would be Pino, as Psycho has already launched his into a window frame. Time deceptively low here, though, and Muzi will take down Mark. So big run there from Muzi as he goes out onto the VIP balcony. A drop down here for Psycho as well as he contends. Trying to open up the reinforced wall onto the top of Cool Vibes. It's not going very well here for Reciprocity, and they're stalling out.
Yeah, they're trying to get Vase open, but it's going to be an aggressive take here as Skies will actually get a kill from underneath, I do believe. No, he's out on the hookah balcony. Just a quick rotation by Psycho as he walks right into that line of sight. Do they know Polo's in sight now? No. It's going to be Muzi to try and shut things down. He's almost all on his lonesome. Pino's trying to pick up the pieces here. It's a 1 versus 2. Knocked it down to the 1 versus 1. He could possibly win it out. He has a P10 Roni. He's got to get that reload in. They don't have the diffuser down just yet, but it's going to be Pino. Ninjas in Pajamas still alive in this one.
Yikes, wreck. That stall out there, and then everyone flooding into hookah. Not a lot of support, no big window rappel.
No, that was the main thing for me. Like, yeah, you had the aquarium balcony handled with that rappel, but nobody big window. I mean, that's a rudimentary area to play. And yeah, the thing for me is that I was going to say, after I assumed Reciprocity was going to win that round, that they're going for the surgical take. Take your time, do your entire checklist, work your way down, get the angles you want inside of sight, then try and get that diffuser down to where you know things are safe. But it was anything but that. They just all of a sudden, through caution of the wind, rushed into sight and ended up losing the round because of it.
Well, I mean, you got to give big props to Pino there for staying poised in that kind of situation. And that's a player that was talked about earlier on in the season having confidence issues, and that's why he was benched momentarily in the middle of the season for the online stage. And honestly, for this kind of situation, you probably take all your worries about expectations and throw them out the window. You can see them still getting hyped up between rounds. And for Reciprocity, like we said, you don't want to lose your grip. You don't want to give them any kind of momentum switching back into the game. You really want to keep them at bay. And they still have a 2-round barrier to hold off right now. For NIP on the defense, looks like we're heading to Kitchen. So, I mean, my one worry right now is if Reciprocity start turning on the gas and start turning this into, you know, frags in the first 30 seconds, everyone dumping into sight, it's gonna turn ugly pretty quickly.
I'm surprised that we don't even have that now.
I was gonna say,
it was very weird pacing by Reciprocity when you know that the animal across from you is wounded.
Like they're stalling out for these tacking rounds, and I don't really know why. They had freedom of mobility. Everyone was backed off on NIP and playing pretty timid, playing pretty safe. And I mean, why wouldn't you play safe in this kind of situation? You're at such a disadvantage, and you're on the defense, so you have the ability to wait out the clock. But it was Reciprocity waiting out more of the clock than anything on these rounds. I really want to see Rec kind of pick up the pace a little bit, because NIP is within striking distance here. This is still a very throwable match.
Hopefully this doesn't turn into a mental game for Reciprocity, because as I was saying before with the whole animal thing, it's kind of like playing with your food. Again, you know Ninjas and Pyjamas are hurting. They're down 2 people. Just do what you need to do in order to win the game. And right now it seems like Rec are so scared of losing that they're not focused on winning.
That's been a big problem for a lot of teams today, and Pino getting aggressive out towards office. There are 2 drones on him, and yeah, he's not going to be long for this world, as Skies will put a bullet in his head. A piece of lead will also find the cranium of Psycho coming out of the barrel of Mark. So recovering the diffuser now as they continuously drop it. I kind of like that strat actually from Rec. Drop the diffuser outside, because everyone on this team can gun. Drop it outside at an easy access point and start running in and see what you can accomplish. And this is more what I wanted to see from Reciprocity in terms of picking up the pace, expediting their entries, getting 2 onto Psycho and Pino. So now you've got Polo and Barros, the Spaniard subs, and you've got Muzi alone right now. So the only man who can speak Portuguese that is alive is Muzi. Trying to contest in towards Hookah there. He's got Barros as support, but he's going to peel on back, and Barros is going to join him now as the clock is about to strike 60 seconds remaining.
Reciprocity now focusing down on site. Mute Jammer's in play, so Mark's going to have to be worried about that drone. He gets it in through, though. You can see it through the wall if you know what you're looking for. A quick trade back and forth between the 2 teams. Man advantage still in the hands of Reciprocity. Obviously, they were still 5 up. Sky's going to push it 1 step further. It's going to be up to Polo, the sub, to try and find 4 to win out the round. Does he know where this plant's going down? He should just pre-fire right to his right. Oh, Nitro Cell to sail over. He thinks he's planting by the door, but he's not. Mark's going to be planting close. Pre-fires through. They know he's inside of the bathroom now. Catches a couple of bullets in his rear, but it's going to be a confirm from Mark. And all smiles on the Reciprocity side.
Again, we keep trading rounds back and forth here, but that early 3-1 lead for Reciprocity has given them the breathing room that they really required to keep handling this. They have the ability to trade out rounds back and forth. Even if they lose this one, they can win the next one, as it's the pattern, and they will take map number 1. It's match point now for Reciprocity on Coastline. We'll be heading to Consulate as map number 2 between these 2 teams, and hopefully, like I said, NIP on a little more familiar ground on Consulate than on Coastline. For NIP, honestly, if it was NIP's full roster, I would still be saying it's a little shaky for them to be going against Rec on Coast. Rec is just that good on Coast, and NIP is just that unfamiliar with Coastline. It's
well,
still
as far as we know.
Well, it's in their pool, but they don't play it unless they absolutely have to. It's one of those maps that gets banned out quite often. I think they had a 1-0-2 record in
especially
6 months.
Especially inside of LATAM. I mean, we've talked about this for a very long time with this region, that there's really only one team that plays Coastline, and that's Team 1. Ninjas and Pyjamas isn't even inside of that conversation. Traditionally speaking, LATAM favors Bank, but NIP doesn't even do that. They kind of have a really a smorgasbord of maps that they play, and it's everything besides Bank, really. Bank and Cafe are the 2 maps that are just completely off the table.
Yeah. So, looks like we're going downstairs to kitchen once again. We're going to try and run that back for NIP, and I imagine having a longer survivability for your roamers is probably key number 1, as those entries were pretty quick for Reciprocity. Lots of holes being opened up, try and get some more visibility here, and hopefully some more intel. It seems like both of these teams have been lacking intel on the bomb site specifically. You know, Polo alone inside of the bathroom in a 1v4. He's never expected to win that situation, but the plant's going down 3 feet from him on the other side of a soft wall, and they don't know where it is. Like, that's the problem right there. Even if he gets that kill onto Mark, obviously, it doesn't mean he wins the round. It's just both teams, Reciprocity and NIP, both lacking intel on the bomb site specifically, whether it be a rush or a plant attempt.
Well, it's one of those things where you can kind of tell that they are out of practice inside of Siege, whereas for quite a few people, when you hear that sound, that's almost an immediate pre-fire to that exact spot, because you're either going to hit the man that's planning next to the door, or you're going to hit the other default spot closer to the wall. And if it doesn't work out, Nitro Cell over, try for something a little bit more explosive instead. But a very nice shot from Reciprocity by the likes of Foxay to take down Pino.
Yeah, Pino just... I get what he was doing. He threw a Valkyrie camera outside that Aqua Balk door. He was waiting outside the door to go for a run and go for a jump out. Skies had him from ruins if Fox hadn't gotten from the roof, and also just leaving himself exposed there while on the cameras. It's pretty poor positioning there for Pino to sacrifice his life early, and with their backs against the wall here on map number 1, it doesn't seem like their troubles are going to be quelled anytime soon, as Team Reciprocity midway through the round here, still in the driver's seat as they look to aggress in towards service once again. They've done an excellent job on the roam clear. Again, time control has been a little worrisome on some of these rounds, but it seems like every other round they get their act together and really start putting their foot to the pedal.
Well, Reciprocity, the timer continues to tick down on them. They're on the offensive side, and they're just trying to bait for these kills, really. That's been the focal point so far throughout the entire round is, can we possibly cut off some rotates, maybe get some freebies, then try to get a diffuser down? It isn't the same Reciprocity we saw the last time where it was just all gas, no brakes. And I'm really starting to feel like Reciprocity, once again, is just so focused on not losing, not falling into the exact same trap that we saw EG fall in so long ago, that it's really slowed down their playstyle. They have the diffuser in hand. It looks like this is going to be a delivery plant once again, but I don't believe that they're going to let Mark get it off in the same instance. Upside down rappel getting allocated for Retro. This is pretty rudimentary so far. The rest of Ninjas and Pyjamas, though, needs to wake up and rotate over. They have the areas that they really need. They're still playing inside a delivery. We do have the Legion holding for a rotation through security. Concussions pour in, but it's going to be onto Mark. It'll actually stunt his growth there for just a second, but Fox wins out onto Psycho. A very weird gunfight. Muzi will trade it back onto Fox, so that shuts him down, but it's going to be Laxing once again to trade things out. Ninjas and Pyjamas, especially Muzi, sprinting into his angle, gets absolutely nothing in return, though.
Defenders have eyes on the diffuser.
Diffuser down near the door. Retro on the upside down rappel still, so this is more than likely going to be pretty easy for him. Able to bag the first kill. Muzi is the only man remaining for Ninjas in Pyjamas. Can Reciprocity win out the first map? It'll be Skies, and Reciprocity makes it a quick 7-3.
Not really much of a shot there, as it's a 7-3, a very swift map there for Rec, the North Americans. They take map number 1 on Coast. For NIP, you know, with all the underdog stories we've seen today, I wouldn't have been shocked to see NIP come out the gates firing and really put on a show, but I'm also not surprised to see this from them as well. It's a tough scenario to be in. Reciprocity know the enemy across the table from them, and NIP also know the situation that they're in. Right now for Reciprocity, it's about closing things out on Consulate, and that's all you really got to focus on. For NIP, you throw that map out the window, you try to get back on familiar territory on Consulate. They have a much better record on Consulate, but to break everything down for you and to tell you what we're looking forward to on map number 2, let's send it to the desk with Gassan and the boys.
And that is the Team Reciprocity versus NIP match. First map at least, done and dusted, and I think, Alex, it kind of ended up how we expected.
Yeah, I don't think anyone's too surprised. I mean, we were actually kind of happy that they got 3 rounds. That's some impressive-ness.
Yeah, I like what your notes were. 2 rounds, good effort, and then a smile.
Yeah.
And then you upgraded that to 3 rounds, because they did manage that as well. So honestly, I feel like we've also got to talk about what was Reciprocity doing wrong. Look, like they did win the map at the end of the day, but what was it that actually let NIP get those 3 rounds?
I mean, I honestly think they were fooling around a little bit too much.
They took it seriously with the operator bans, Reciprocity, to see it. You know?
At least that was smart. They go for Vigil Lion. That at least takes some of the scariness out of them just going crazy and jumping out everywhere, running around. It's not going to be someone they can't find, and they can't just rely on a quick lion call to get a couple kills. But I mean, they looked a little like they were having a little fun every now and then.
I felt like they were waiting around for picks, mainly in that last round. It took a really long time. They opened up some great angles, especially Laxin. We were watching him outside of service entrance for a really long time. Long angle all the way into that little cubby area at the back of service. Constantly waiting for these picks, and fortunately for NIP, they actually weren't really giving anything over to them. One thing I thought was a bit missing for NIP though was that site information and that plan denial. There was an opportunity where it was a 1 versus 4 or 1 versus 3 for a smoke inside a bathroom, and he was one soft wall away from being able to deny the plan onto the plan. So he probably wouldn't have gotten refragged as well. There was not very much time left on the clock. He could have won that if only he had the information.
I mean, there was definitely a chance. I still think you had 2 guys in lobby. He's not getting out of there. Maybe some crazy clutch could have happened, but all of this kind of comes down to, on NIP's side, I think they have to throw the strat book away. Stop playing Siege like you want to play Siege, and then just see if you can win the gunfights. That's all, man.
To be honest, most of the time when we talk about a map where you can throw everything out of the picture and just go for frags, it's Coast, right? Yep. And yet they only got 3 rounds there. Consulate now, man, especially attacking Consulate can be a scary prospect. What have we got to see them do to step up there if they can't just frag out?
If I'm Reciprocity, I'm banning, if I'm NIP, I'm banning Nomad. I'm jumping out everywhere. Yeah. I'm like balcony, piano window, everything. Do every spawn pick known to man. Just try to get numbers up, man.
Actually, we need to get the verification on that just to be sure who starts on which side on Consulate, just so it makes a bit more sense. But yeah, as you say, if Reciprocity started in defense, yeah, man, just go Rook Dock, fire away every single round, and you're going to do a lot of work. NIP right now, they know they're on the back foot. They're trying their best in this to at least enjoy the show that they have, but
make the flight worth it.
Make the flight worth it, yeah.
I think the Japanese food will make the flight worth it.
Not if you stay at the airport here. Like.
Hey, head over to Nagoya. I hear it's pretty nice. I spent, you and me, we went over there with Kasan. We turned straight back as soon as we got there. But for Reciprocity, this is 2 things in my eyes. This is, one, obviously they've got to qualify for the semi-final. We're kind of taking it as a given that Rec are going to be in that semi-final, but this is an opportunity to have to try and get that win without showing too much that is going to help Na'Vi, and then they've got to actually face Na'Vi, who put up such a good showing today against Wildcard.
I mean, we might be looking at this kind of like a warm-up opportunity, but they can't. They have to look at this as a real game where they have to perform for real, because if they don't, it will be terrifying losing it, and tomorrow they have an actual proper real matchup that they know is going to be difficult.
Reciprocity just dragged their feet over the line to get here. As we talked about the head-to-head against EG, I look over some of the past LAN experience from Rec. Let's exclude 6 Invitational this year. Failed to qualify for Season 9 LAN. Allied Esports Miner tried to play through the online qualifier, failed to qualify. DreamHack Valencia, a bit of a meh performance. They lost in the quarterfinals to Rogue. Raleigh, they failed to qualify through the online qualifier. How many times does this have to happen? Even DreamHack Montreal, they're eliminated in groups. They need to find their footing on LAN. They need to take that next step, because 6 Invitational seemed like a peak for them. They actually took down evil geniuses.
Yeah, I mean, we've seen them pick up quite a lot of maps, quite a lot of matches, but we just don't see them get very far. And I guess it's a bit too much of a free ride for this match and then tomorrow, but their day starts tomorrow, to be honest.
Yeah, the preparation is for now to, hey, let's just finish the game, we'll go relax, get some sleep, and then we'll prepare for a matchup tomorrow, because that's going to be the real game. You made it semifinals, and of course, with a brand new, well, not brand new, it's been a few months now, but we have an increase in prize pool for Pro League, $616,000 in total for every season. That's a lot of money. You get a pretty penny at the end of the day, and you get to go to Japan. I think it's a very good spot to be in, but still, Reciprocity have so much to prove. You guys said it. They go to LAN after LAN after LAN, if they even qualify to one, and they kept getting shut down. And now finally they're here to represent North America. We have map number 2. We're expecting this, I guess, to go Reciprocity's way. But after seeing that first map, is there something that NIP can do?
I don't think they don't have a chance.
James?
As for NIP, they've got to just play their hearts out. Came over here, 2 of them from Spain as well. Just give it your best damn shot. Have some fun. We're here. We play this game for fun. You also play it for money, but at the end of the day, just give us a good show.
All right, gentlemen, thank you very much. It's time to go for map number 2 in this best of 3 series. We'll see if it stops right there or we can move it forward. That'll be Consulate. Let's go back into game.
Thank you very much, Hassan, and welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Map number 1 concluded by a scoreline of 7-3 on Coast. We now head over to Consulate for map number 2. The victor of map number 1, by no shocking surprise at all, was Team Reciprocity. Again, 7-3 scoreline. We're gonna have Rec again starting on the attack with NIP starting on the defense here on Consulate. So, I mean, it's so slight. It's like 53-47. Slight favor to NIP on the defensive side here. For Reciprocity as well, you're looking to close this thing out and close it out quickly. You don't want to expose too much for VOD review for tomorrow when you play Na'Vi should you win. And honestly, you kind of want to wrap things up. It's like 11 o'clock at night right now. We're trying to get home. Yeah. Everyone's trying to get home. Rec needs to sleep before their game tomorrow. And that's the main thing. Like, Reciprocity's been here all day with us as well. It came in with us at like 7 a.m. Yeah, so we'll with you at 7 a.m. I was not here at 7 a.m. because I was intelligent and I did not wake up. So I chose to sleep late instead of come get the jackets early on, which is was better for my mental health, I can tell you that. I feel very awake right now. Flynn looks dead, and that's how the day is going. So there you go. So, I don't know why we just cut the cameras. Are we solid? Oh, yeah, we're solid. It just took a minute to load there. Scared me for just a second. I was getting worried. Yeah, that loading screen took a while. But NIP, like we said, starting on the defense here, it looks like they're going to elect to go lobby to start things off. I don't know why none of the Reciprocity members are touching their keyboards, and yet somehow they're picking operators? What am I watching? They're wizards, Harry. You never lived underneath your parents' staircase? I don't know how that's happening. I don't know. But anyway. This guy's a 6-pick, and he's touching his keyboard. We're fine. We're good. Well, he's touching his mouse, at least. But besides that point, bans have already went through, obviously, as we see the timer tick down. The main one everyone's going to want us to talk about is going to be the Thatcher ban. And if you guys don't watch a lot of LATAM Pro League, you should probably start, because Thatcher is banned almost every single map. They hate Thatcher. And if you guys didn't know, Zoronic also hates Thatcher. And Jaeger. And Jaeger. And there's a main reason for that. Thatcher is an extremely powerful operator that you literally get to use as utility for free. There's no reason to throw it into a building. You can put it on a roof, you can put it next to a wall, you can put it, well, practically anywhere, and it ends up destroying something, you know? So it's a very powerful utility piece, and pulling that carpet out from under people when they're so used to having it can definitely put them into a different mindset, because you have to go about things a whole separate way. So, NIP going to be starting on a lobby defense here, a little more atypical. And Muzi going for a spawn peek. So, we saw the Vigil ban on Coastline. We are not going to be seeing a mimicked Vigil ban here on Consulate. So, Muzi started things off, a little bit of a spawn peek. We'll see how Reciprocity contests that. And that's quite the angle there from Laxing. On top of a garbage can through some lattice outside. But Reciprocity assembling themselves out towards the console windows. They should know by now that they are attacking in towards the lobby, but typically we see admin takes, and we have a nice little stat from Splack. Yep. At this year's 6th Invitational, Ninjas in Pajamas beat Reciprocity in a closely contested 8-6 win on Coastline. That's Consulate. I don't feel... What did I say? You said Coast. On Consulate, excuse me. My brain after that map earlier, or that match earlier today, is just down to about 5 IQ. I'm not even gonna lie to you. It's we're running out of RAM here. That was also in the group stage as well, before Reciprocity really kind of got their groove going. They started off very slow against NIP. That is certainly not the case today here in November. 10 months later, I don't know, or 9 months. Oh, I can't do math. 9 months later. I'm telling you, man, we're running out of brain power over here. It's I do like the swap up though in terms of roles. We never really see Mark on Ash anymore. That's just not a thing. If he's not playing Breach, he's usually on like secondary support, whether it be Thatcher, Capitaus, IQ, something like that. So getting to see Mark on Ash again. Reciprocity is not looking to reveal anything. The less that Na'Vi have to be able to watch in the VODs, the better. Obviously, there's still a whole season of Pro League there, and Skies will start things off. That's our opening pick of the map, but it takes a while to get there. But it is Pino using the cardiac sensor, being spotted by Skies with the electronic sensor out in his hand.
Yeah, and that's going to be, well, the most dangerous thing for Pulse in the game is going to be an IQ. Psycho's also been down, so Reciprocity taking their time. The surgical way of handling things on the offense is working out this time around. They're going through the checklist. Slow and steady wins the race. Mark rotates in through Piano. E1 out. Doesn't see the Vigil. Does he win the fight? He does. That's going to be a double for Mark, and now the diffuser going down, but it doesn't even matter. Skies to clean it up, and Reciprocity with a flawless round to start us here on Consulate.
I didn't mean to have a stroke into your microphone while you were casting that, but I saw Mark flick away, and oh no.
It happens, don't worry.
I had some worries.
I need that sound bite though. I need that. I see you going,
Well, Mark still collects the kill regardless, and it's obvious why Mark is on Ash right now, because he's still quite the competent fragger. They're going to put Skies in the Capitao instead of Mark as well, so roll swaps abound here, everyone cycling through the carousel. This is also NIP's map pick. For anyone who is curious, Reciprocity picked Coastline. This is now Ninjas in Pyjamas map, and they don't start off all that hot, and yeah, there's through a soft wall, through a window with the cardiac sensor out from the electronics detector. Quite the opener there for Skies. Yeah, Psycho got down inside of the antechamber, and Fox elected to clean it up with the frag grenade, and that entire round there, again, was early picks from Reciprocity sitting still and waiting for the movements from NIP, and that's kind of been the name of the game so far. To start off is NIP really making some poor rotations, and Reciprocity taking advantage almost every round. You can see them, the only times they've really come at odds on rounds is when NIP just stay static. They don't move, and you can see Reciprocity sitting outside windows, sitting outside doors for 2.5 minutes straight, waiting for that mistake to be made.
Yeah, they're just waiting for Ninjas in Pyjamas to get antsy, and it's been working out for them so far. Polo going to allocate his Electro Claw onto the side wall of the garage instead of putting it directly onto the metal, which very creative way of handling that. Makes it where you can't shoot it from yellow stairs very easily, unless obviously you have something like, well, an electronics detector to find that outside edge and make it just a touch easier for yourself. Reciprocity obviously still going to be on offense. It looks like it's going to be, relatively speaking, the exact same take that we just went through. A quick utility burn from Mark will get rid of an ADS. Stuns everybody inside of the room, but obviously no aggressive take.
So pushing downstairs, you're going to want the piano control, and you're going to want some soft destruction to open up the piano floor. Not some challenge. Moosey's going to walk straight into an ass charge. Oh, that's not what you want. As Moosey's down to about 10 HP now. That's a big risk play there for Moosey that just does not pay off. He takes a lot of damage there for free, and I don't think Mark's any the wiser. I don't think he has any idea that Moosey crossed right in front of his windowsill before backing off. They don't have a dock. They don't have any way to really push him back up above the threshold that he's on right now in terms of health. So the wall will get opened up with the assist from Mark there, and they'll do some damage just as an added bonus. But there goes the right panel of the garage. Retro waiting a second, waiting for anyone to come screaming out of that breach. But no one from NIP looking to take that risk. They've been caught off guard way too many times trying to go for those aggressive takes, and Reciprocity have read them like a book at every turn. So for now, NIP once again looking to stay a little more static.
Yeah, I think that the main thing is that you never see Reciprocity with this playstyle. They're going to full stun everybody outside, but it's really not going to matter all too much. Reciprocity is just waiting for open arms, as you said, for any mistake that Ninjas in Pyjamas is going to make. They're going to continue to play this slow play style because of that match that they're going in tomorrow. And if they can win this with the least amount of strats and everything else showing, that's exactly what they want to do. But this time around, Ninjas in Pyjamas will actually have the upper hand to start us off, and it's going to be Skies to falter. Reciprocity needs to try and get this diffuser down. More drone play coming in for Reciprocity. They don't have any vertical control, which is something that's very weird. They did bring the sledge on Fox, but no one has allocated themselves upstairs in order to handle it, and this could get really rough. Only 40 seconds remain. Obviously, still need to get that plant down in order to shift the tides of war here. They do know that somebody is on pipes, though, so if they're able to get that initial kill, they can go for this plant and try and shut people down as they rotate up to stop the diffuser from going down. They recognize out now, though, that at least one person is upstairs. Where's Foxy going to go, though? He's taking control of yellow. He's going to get challenged. Quite a bit of damage dealt to him. He goes to challenge Piano, but doesn't find too much. Mark's going to accidentally knife a quick rotation, but he's going to run right into the Nitro Cell instead. Laxing with the team kills. He takes down Psycho, but they need to get this diffuser down. He almost gets that second one. It's going to be down to the 1 kill. They know where he is. He's going to go for the prone shot, but he can't find it, and Fox allocates himself to the fist bump and goes into the next round.
Again, a lot of standing around for Reciprocity, man. They're just waiting for NIP to peak to their own detriment, really. It's getting worrisome how long they're waiting to go for that execute here. You know, we're talking 10, 15 seconds left in the round, maybe, when Reciprocity are pushing into the bomb site, and this is honestly looking a lot like Coastline, where on the attacking side, they're so committed to waiting out their opponents. You're on attack, though. The defense can play the clock, and they have utility to play the clock as well, like smoke grenades, like nitro cells, and I don't know, it's not something I would have expected to see from Reciprocity in a situation like this, where they really had the opportunity to just go swinging for the fences and play a play style that, yeah, is a little more known as your brand, but something you don't get to play all that often.
I think the main thing is that it feels like Reciprocity is playing defense on offense. And the only time that you're allowed to do that is once you have the plant down. Once you're in the post plant, that's perfectly acceptable. But otherwise, I mean, it's kind of in the name. Attack. You're not attacking. Go do things. Shoot people. It's kind of your job.
Well, you want to talk about more of a stall factor. Polo is giving up on guns. He's going to go to the Clash. Obviously, still has the SMG9 as an opportunity or an option, but he's going to have the deployable taser shield.
I firmly believe that Clash has some of the best voice lines in this entire game. I love hearing her yell at people. It's great. No running in the halls. One of the really good ones inside of her kit there, but we actually have some fantastic voice lines overall in this entire game. I would have to say that the best one for me personally would probably be Echo's, because he goes, time to be efficient and kind of lazy. And that just, you know, really rings true with me because I don't want to move. I just want to sit in my room and play video games all day.
So for Reciprocity, a lot of damage done to Pino to start things off. Mark as well getting back on the Capitao. Sky's back on breach, so it's like a return to normality here for Reciprocity. They started with the roll swaps for the first 2 rounds. It works out well once, doesn't work well twice. And really, I don't think it has anything to do with operators. It has to do with playstyle. For the first round, you actually pushed and got entries in the first minute. For the second round, you sat outside a garage wall for 2 minutes and didn't make a move. That's the difference between your 2 rounds. And that was the difference between all of the attacking rounds they won and lost on Coastline as well. It has nothing to do with the operators. It just has to do with how you're playing the game. Pino, though, on about 28, 30 HP in some kind of territory in that range. And the pre-fire from Fox almost put him to rest quite early on. Sky's firing down from the yellow skylight as well to try and displace anyone playing deep inside of the console office, as it doesn't look like Reciprocity have any intentions of going for an admin take. This is a complete yellow stairs and console windows take to try and aggress in. And that Capitao is going to do wonders for them with the smoke bolts and with the asphyxiating bolts to cut off any possible rotations and clear out connector. That's one of the hardest places to clear. ADS will not catch these asphyxiating bolts coming in.
I would have bet money that you and I would have never have sat here and talked about how Reciprocity was going to be playing extremely passive. Even with Ninjas and Pyjamas worse for wear at this point in time, I assumed that it was going to be an absolute frag fest, just go for the death match instead of the strats, but it seems like Reciprocity is slowing things down still. They've got their initial kill on Pino, who was damaged earlier on into the round, but with only a minute remaining and Clash still up. Cancel that. Fox is going to change that up quickly. Tries to challenge in towards connector, but it's going to be Barroz who to win it out instead. Mark's going to trade, and they're still going to have man advantage up 4-2 currently. The last 2 remaining NIP members inside of connector battling for the windows, pre-firing through, but it's not going to be enough to stop them. And it's actually going to be lacked on a very peculiar angle all the way from circle. Spiral, excuse me. Off of the spiral rappel, is able to find the kill in connector off of the rotation. So Reciprocity seemingly back in order here in round 3.
Again, it's about making forward progression here for Reciprocity. In rounds where they take 1 step forward, that's all it takes. 1 step forward, they win the round. When they stand still and don't do anything on attack, yeah, they lose. So it looks like we're going to be going back upstairs once again here for NIP. For the last 3 rounds, Reciprocity's in the driver's seat every round. It's just up to them as to whether or not they want to take the round. On the defensive side here for NIP, honestly, they didn't have many options. I know I'm talking about Reciprocity just laying and waiting for them to make the move, but the asphyxiating bolts, the frag grenades, the pressure from crossfires and the window repels, that was a beautiful setup there for Reciprocity that forced NIP to make movements that ultimately cost them their lives. For Reciprocity, the cleaner attacks have looked good when pushing through window repels and establishing those crossfires. When they were attacking the basement, though, like you said, they never pushed in for that top control. They never applied any pressure from above to force NIP to move. If you want to sit there and wait for them to make a mistake, by all means, but at least apply some pressure. Force it to happen. Be an initiator. Don't just wait for them to get bored and start moving on their own. You have to be the driving force. Like you said, you're on attack.
Yeah, and the issue with that is that, as you said, they're not forcing them to make the mistakes, and that's what you have to do inside of this game. They're just not going to do it just because you want them to, especially with how Ninjas and Pyjamas are forced to play without their main lineup, you know? They're just going to sit there and allow you to spin on the timer on offense if that's what you're going to do. They really could care less unless you're going to try and get aggressive. They're the ones with the passive play style. Reciprocity is just kind of playing up to the matchup right now and doing the exact same thing.
Well, I think it's also interesting that they've gone back to their normal roles that they play, you know, day in, day out in Pro League and every event they play. This is a return to the norm for almost everyone right now. Waxing on the Lion, slightly out of the norm, but the Lion being available is an opportunity that Reciprocity would like to take advantage of. Now, Pino's standing on the opposite side of a wooden barricade from Mark as they stare down bullet holes from one another. Shotgun in hand, if Pino had accidentally clicked his mouse, it would have been a free kill, staring right down with the shotgun, but he'll never know. It would be one to look back on the VOD and shake your head at, but obviously you never would have had the intel for it. Popping open the window now, and Pino's going to try and take action on the windowsill. Darting up, and there goes a run up from Polo, though, to take down Mark. Looking for two now outside. No one holding him at bay. It looks like it'll be Fox to try and push downstairs and at least trade one back there. You've lost so much utility on Mark. You've lost Skies on that spiral repel, or the yellow stairs repel, sorry. This is a good start here, and Ninjas and Pyjamas starting to fight back a little bit. This is more what I wanted to see from them.
Yeah, get a little aggro, show a little leg, you know? You have to try and at least bait them into the building, and they've been playing so very passive. I mean, for God's sakes, we have Laxian on the top of Spiral just staring into yellow. That's something that, again, we don't see too often from this roster. Usually it's the extremely aggressive it takes. Laxian's on an entry fragger like IQ, but instead this time around he's going to be on the Lion. So overall, the showing from Reciprocity, lackluster, especially since they're playing against an injured Ninjas in Pyjamas roster. Now their main focus, though, has to be side. The diffuser's going to be in the hands of Retro. It appears that they're going to be going for a projector take here. Laxian is still upstairs on the top of Spiral. They have Fox, who has shifted his sights over towards what appears to be, I believe, copy window here. I can't exactly get my bearings on the exact area in which he's playing. It does appear, yeah, he's on the copy window over on the complete opposite side of the map over on the north end. So as the timer continues to tick down, EU1Ds pour in, but they know that Retro is going to try and hop in through these projector windows. He opens up both of them. They already have control on admin. Laxian's going to get a kill, as I believe Polo just threw himself from the window. Fox is actually in. He finds one kill. Moosey's going to immediately get the kill on Retro as he hops in. Another EE1D gets allocated. It'll mark out one. Laxian to get another, but he needs to find two in order to shut this down. They can both just run away. The diffuser's already been killed. Laxian can't win it out, and Ninjas in Pyjamas with round 4 to equalize.
Want to tie things up. Running it back upstairs was the right play there for NIP, and this time again getting a little more aggressive. You can see Pino in the smoke. Instead of waiting and ultimately dying to those asphyxiating bolts that we saw last time around, he wants to challenge the console windows. A nice play from him. And then again, the run out there from Polo. Just a difference maker on the round and a different look that NIP haven't shown yet. He nitros away the Claymore. I do like that play. Pretty loud sound cue, but neither member of Team Reciprocity able to acquire the kill. And Fox pushing down momentarily towards Pipes, unable to clean the trade either. So precarious situation there for Reciprocity, allowing Polo to escape after taking down 2 members off Repel. That's the thing, man. You sit in one spot for too long and you run it back the exact same way. Eventually, NIP is going to read you. Even an injured NIP still equalizing here. It's a 2-2 ball game.
I mean, it's not like they have players that haven't played the game before and haven't played a first-person shooter before. I mean, they still have brains, guys, for God's sakes, come on. You know, Reciprocity, though, on this offense so far, again, just these slow takes that are not working out for them. They need to try and imbue some aggression into their playstyle. Bring us back the old Reciprocity. I like the old Kanye. Where's he at?
I don't know if you're allowed to say that, but you did anyway, so we'll get in trouble for it later. Again, with the role swaps, Mark's going to get off the support and go back to the Ash. Sky's on the Twitch. Never go wrong with Sky's with an F2, so he's going to get off support as well. We'll throw Retro on Breach, and the other two members of Fox and Laxion will remain the same. For the defensive side here, Psycho's having a lot of fun on the Mozzie. He's having a lot of fun on the Mozzie today, and that's a role that's been honestly shopped around between plenty of the members of NIP today. We're going to go back downstairs for a basement defense. This is the last bomb site that they won before they won their previous round upstairs. The front door is wide open, and that's a little precarious for both the members that spawned out towards Police Line for Reciprocity. And again, Muzi playing inside of Piano. It's up to Reciprocity to push in and actually take the main floor control here into Piano and acquire some pressure. First EOD is going to detonate, and there goes Foxay taking down Muzi as he tries to rotate. He's already pushed his way in through the circle death. So there we go. Team Reciprocity pushing in and taking ground. They'll now use Mark on those upside down repels, again, to open up the floorboards, clear off the walls for these Kaid Electro Claws that Polo has placed, and they'll facilitate opening up the wall with relative ease.
The issue is now, though, is that Psycho's on a deep roam upstairs. You can see him inside of Connector, and they haven't droned it out just yet, and now he's going to show phase, taking down Mark as he rotated into Projector. They now have to worry about this man all the way upstairs. They can always go for the direct attack as well, as Skies is waiting to see if there is an Electro Claw or anything else that is possibly thrown. He goes to pop it. Didn't get the sound cue, but it'll open nevertheless. Gets rid of one of the evil eyes, and now they don't have to worry about as much vision control in the hands of Ninjas and Pyjamas. We could have a hot drop coming in from Foxay as well on the eastern side of things.
Oh, you can see Skies. He doesn't want to tase it because he only has one taser left. So he's going to open it up and call for a teammate to hit the deck and try and shoot. But as he does, Barros is going to challenge onto Laxing. So that will cue Foxay to drop into the back. He's going to blow open the hatch, but the barricaded door will be a sound cue. So he wants to avoid it and now head in towards Archives and take down Pino. Taking out the cam as well. Now down to the 3v3. The wall has been opened up on the left-hand side here for Reciprocity as well. They've got the Skies and Retro to push into the breach with Foxay applying pressure from the back. Another drone being sent out here from Retro to again confirm what they're seeing. Polo does not need to peek here, and he'll do it anyway, and he'll get down. The F2 so dominant from Skies, but the top control, that's going to force Skies to push all the way on through. Barros the challenge now. 1 HP, but he'll turn the corner and take him down. Retro will trade out Psycho upstairs, so Barros last man standing. Foxay bursts on through with that SMG-11, and Foxay the difference maker on that round. Reciprocity back in the driver's seat up 3-2.
Just let one person do it. I mean, Foxay's been able to show that he is able to find these kills if he has the information throughout Consulate so far. So why not just let that happen? Continue this drone game, continue to show that support for him, and you guys could possibly walk away with a lot more rounds than you currently have.
I really like the teamwork that time around from Reciprocity, as well as pushing in, like I said, grabbing that map control. You're really not going to walk away with a lot of rounds if you're not pushing into the building on attack. It is Consulate, a map where you can play a lot of rounds off rappel. Attacking the basement is not one of those rounds. And we're going to try and run that back. So we have a lobby defense to start the game, and we're going to abandon it for the next 5 rounds consecutively. 2 ADSs being allocated to the back of the white van. Not a big shock, as a lot of pressure's been applied there, especially with frag grenades and flashes, trying to disorient any of the members, holding off the entry into the garage. Psycho on that roam, like you said, undroned for a long period of time, and that was the demise of Mark right there, is just unknowing for Reciprocity that Psycho was topside. Muzi has had a bad time trying to roam inside of Antechamber and Piano, though. First round, he takes an ass charge to the face and loses about 90 HP. In the second round, he gets droned out. Foxay pushes in through Circle Desk while the EOD from the line detonates, and he's not long for this world.
You hate to see it, you really do. Reciprocity, though, seem to have found their footing on offense and how they want to handle things. If they don't want to show their full hand, then just have one person be aggressive instead, or have 2 people be aggressive. Just go to what standard Siege is. 2 supports, 1 flex, 2 entries, instead of what Reciprocity usually does, which is like 4 entries and a guy that drones a lot. Jumping into round 6 now, though, Reciprocity is trying to force this lead even further as they gain control of it once again. Fox is looking to go in the exact same way that he did the last time, through lobby, but he's going to have a little bit more contention this time around. Could be hotly contested if they do choose to peek out from antechamber. Mark going to go for the upside down rappel again and gets the angle to lock down white van.
Drone work there to spot out the electric claws. That's a sneaky little electric claw, but shooting open the front door. Good coverage there from Laxing this time, waiting for the peak to come onto the balcony outside projector, but instead a nice little flick there from Laxing, and he waits for Psycho to go for the jump as well, but no double jump there coming from NIP as they'll lose their roamer of Muzi once again from inside of Piano. He's just had a bad time, a very ineffectual roam so far. The second electric claw placed in the wall, pretty easy to spot and shoot for any member of Reciprocity. No Thatcher is going to make things a little bit more difficult for that, but the EOD as he pushes in. Fox now has bathroom control. He'll take down the smoke of Pino, and now they have a lot of control in towards the garage specifically.
Well, you at least got to give it to Muzi. That was a very creative way to set up the door, make it to where it only takes a couple of bullets to fall down, and Psycho on a rotate. They had to worry about this last time. He got a little gun shy once it got down to get the diffuser down, though, and just took a little bit too long in order to be of his utmost effectiveness. Sky's going to be on a late entry, though, and this could spell disaster for Ninjas in Pyjamas. The diffuser is down, and now Skies has the upper control. He heard him getting picked up. He takes down Paulo. That was a man that was down, and Barlas is going to take quite a bit of damage as well. Psycho has that P10 Roni, and the only issue is now, though, is you can't take back-to-back gunfights with that gun. The clip is so very small. They're sticking the diffuser now, though, as he challenges up yellow. Can he get it? He can't. Reciprocity to shut it out in round 6, going into the split 4-2.
Identical to Coastline there. It took a little bit of a different path to get to the scoreline, but once again, we head into the half up 4-2 for Reciprocity on Consulate, as we did on map number 1 of Coastline. So 3 rounds away from sending themselves to a date with Na'Vi tomorrow in the second semi-final. First one is already booked. It's Aerowolf against Dark Zero. So we have one team left to find here. NIP in a big hole, trying to keep themselves alive. They'll head to the attacking side now on Consulate with Reciprocity heading to the defense. You only need 3, and yeah, like I said, a nice flick there from Laxing. Never got to see it, but I could tell. He was pre-aiming towards that balcony. Barros has been sneaky powerful so far, and just milliseconds there from Psycho to stop the plan. If it hadn't been a post-plant situation, that very easily could have been the Ninjas in Pyjamas round, but unfortunately, this game is played off milliseconds, and we've seen a lot of instances of 1 solitude second being the difference maker on rounds. For NIP, same kind of situation as Coastline. You're going to try and draw within 1 early, and the attack to the basement should be pretty standard. I mean, Consulate is a map that has some decent innovation on it in terms of strategies, but at the end of the day, attacking towards the basement of Consulate, this has been the same thing since day 1. Get your top control, open up the floorboards into garage, open your garage wall, force the anchors back. It's, you know, it's the same checklist since 2015.
You can go back and watch videos of King George giving you a breakdown of how to take this map, and it's the exact same way.
Not a lot has changed.
Yeah, we're talking about a year and a half ago, you know. But there is a couple of things about this map that I do love. This is one of my favorite maps in the game, personally speaking. And the main reason for that is you can play every single site, Flynn. There's no site you go, this site is just absolutely terrible. There's no way to defend it.
We saw that this morning with Dark Zero against FaZe. They love Teller's Archives, and they avoided some team's primary bomb site, which is the top floor, like the plague. They never played it once. They kept rotating lobby, Teller's Archives, and the basement.
Yeah, I mean, some teams, it just works out that way. We've seen it a few different other times as well on different maps like Phillip. You know, some people just didn't like aviation games, you know, things along those lines. It really just falls into that fold of, okay, we can play really whatever we want on this map, so why don't we just play the sites that we favor? Now, with this map in particular, though, there's an operator inside of this game that everyone bans all the time. And you're going to see Mark playing her right now. It's Mira, and there's a main reason as to why she wasn't banned out on Consulate, and it's because she's not as effective as she is on other maps. Mark going to botch a Nitro Cell because no one's above him. He just more than likely heard a few footsteps, tried to go for a Hail Mary, and it didn't work out. But This is not one of Mira's most effective maps. She obviously still has some sites that she can be used on, like the site downstairs. You see the very unique Mira setup that they're running. One inside of the security office, and then they also have another panel set up inside of kitchen, both facing out towards the garage, so you have the utmost amount of vision as you possibly can. But you're not going to see her upstairs. You're not going to see her on lobby. This is really the only site that you can play her safely unless you're going to that Teller's Archives.
Oh, Foxay prepping a nitro cell to send out to the breach hole, but it looks like it's well anticipated there from Psycho as he bails all the way back to the stairwells, not going for consecutive breaches, and that's been a smart play. You can see Retro avoiding it when he was on the breach duty while attacking the basement for Reciprocity. Lots of top control here, but Laxing will be the first one to take aim onto Muzi as he tries to push down in towards Archives and Lockers. Doesn't work out so well for the Ash as he'll be the first to fall on the side of the Ninjas. So a 4v5 here, still in good position, but low on time. Clock control not been the greatest for NIP throughout this entire series, and once again, they're gonna have to bail into the bomb site for about 30 seconds remaining. Still 3 smoke canisters remaining for Skies. They only have 1 panel open right now. Not a lot of opportunities. The smoke bolts come raining down, but Mark will hit the nasty shot onto Polo. The plant will come off now, pre-aiming in towards the back of White Van, but turning his attention away. The most inopportune time. Foxay pushing to the smoke will grab one. Barrows on the trade onto Skies. Pino on 1 HP has to retreat, and Barrows going down outside now. Trying to recollect the diffuser, but Foxay standing directly on it next to Black Car. Trying to push in through the breach, but Mark will shut him down for his second on the round. Pino on 5 HP will hold the spiral stairs rotate, and the look on this man's face says it all. It's Reciprocity up 5-2.
Just rough waters here for Ninjas and Pyjamas in general, and I think that you telegraphed that well. I mean, look at the man's face. They're not very happy about the circumstance. But as much as we can possibly rag on that and go, oh my gosh, you know, they have to play with 2 subs, yada, 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 right? The main thing is, though, they're able to play, because we didn't think that they were going to be able to play. So the fact that Ninjas and Pyjamas is even represented here is enough for me personally. I'm happy that they were able to get some of the roster out, get the 2 subs in, and were able to show up to Japan, because this land means a lot to a lot of people. This is one of arguably the best Pro League finals that we've been able to pull off of with production and everything else. So just having the Ninjas and Pyjamas banner here makes it all the better.
Heading to a lobby defense now for Reciprocity as they're victorious downstairs. They might be employing a little bit of what we saw from Darts earlier today from our very first game, which was, geez, what, 10, 12, 15 hours ago?
You're asking,
I've lost track of time.
We've been live for over 12 hours.
Well, it's a 5-2 lead now for Reciprocity. They're 2 rounds away from a date with Na'Vi, as many anticipated, as though Wildcard gave one hell of a performance against Na'Vi earlier today. And obviously with the situation that NIP are in, many of course predicting that it would be Reciprocity to come away victorious in this matchup. And while we've seen plenty of upsets and plenty of upset rounds and underdogs really giving us reasons to cheer, unfortunately this game is just not one of them right now, as NIP really defanged right now by Reciprocity and the lack of not having a full roster.
Yeah, I will definitely tell you this. If this is the first game that you are viewing today,
that's a mistake.
That is a mistake. Go back. You need to watch other things. Watch them in order, because everyone always complains about the ticker giving things away. Watch them in order. Stop it.
Did Psycho just repel into Piano? Yeah, he's trying to plant. Okay. A for effort. Didn't really work out all that well. Laxing's going to grab one on Namuzi before being traded out, but it's 3 straight now for NIP. They all start descending into the bomb site. Pino cuts down Skies. NIP looking to rush into the bomb site. They'll get the plant down. Retro could not stop it before being completed. Repels onto the antechamber windows, and Retro on extremely low HP. He's just going to try and stick it from in behind the Piano chassis. Nobody's coming close. NIP! Finally, there we go. Retro 2 seconds away from sticking the counter defuse. Polo pushing into the yellow door, and oh my, if Retro had been able to stick that, we would have been talking about this for a little while. But thankfully, the repel into Piano works out for NIP, an immediate Russian plant into the bomb site, and Reciprocity, it's the one you can forget.
I was getting flashbacks of the now famous Empire clip on Bank when Blue and I had no idea what was going on. A 2 million IQ usage there in that instance, but this time around didn't work out for him. But I will say this for Retro. Pros don't fake, so therefore I respect it.
attempted run out there. I guess the impact grenade just he's actually collect, and yeah, NIP played that pretty well, honestly. They were set up for that. Everyone in a good position to hold for jump outs and hold for aggression and hold for the retake. I don't want to say they game planned that because they really didn't have time to boot camp or talk to each other really and, you know, prepare strategies, but that's a nice one on the fly. I'll give NIP credit for that.
I got an idea. Let's go.
Let's make a play. I have a play. I'm going to make a play.
I'm throwing myself through a window. You guys just play off of that however you want to.
Yep.
Well, I mean, hey, it worked out.
It did work out. It gets them 1 back in the win column, and now the deficit only stands at 2. A 5-3 advantage still for Reciprocity, still 2 rounds away from sending themselves to the semifinals. And for Reciprocity, that would be nice to see, as they also made the semifinals of the 6 Invitational back in February, and that's the farthest they've been to the land for the entire calendar year of 2019. They didn't make it to the finals in Valencia. They didn't play Allied.
Yeah, you are
play Raleigh.
No, they
didn't make it to the
They did play Allied.
Huh?
Yeah, they were at Allied.
No, they were the only team that didn't play Allied. They were there because they lived there, but they were the only team that didn't play Allied.
Oh, you're talking about Reciprocity. Apologies. I thought you were talking about Ninjas and Pyjamas. I'm sorry. I zoned out for just a second. I just at the wrong time was thinking about something else. Anyways, besides that fact, I was like, wait a minute, Ninjas and Pyjamas was there. What are you talking about? But no, the Reciprocity was not there. So they did have a pretty good showing at 6 Invitational, though, but eventually just got shut down by G2, and G2 was on an absolute rampage. I mean, they only dropped, what, 1 map throughout that entire run, if I remember correctly? A very impressive showing by G2, but they've also become lackluster as of late.
Well, for NIP, they're trying to equalize here. Draw within 1. Polo will be on the rappel outside of the bathroom window, holding for a lot of jump outs, but it looks like NIP, again, imping a little bit of what they saw from Reciprocity, not looking to go for admin, takes across while attacking towards the top floor bomb site. Barrows with that Capital will also be instrumental, using that utility, pushing forward through the round, especially with a clash on the board. Foxy taking a lot of damage, and there's 3 members all stacked on one another. Muzi will grab 1, but he cannot get any remaining members. Mark on 50, Fox on 75, Retro the man to fall, not the person you want to be the first casualty if you're Reciprocity. NIP really stepping up the aggression here, and it's working out in spades. Laxing now will be cut down as he falls to the hatch. Here goes Muzi, his aggression up the yellow stairs, unparalleled.
Bomb has been located.
This is very scary for Reciprocity. Laxing's now down. They have 3 remaining. Foxay allocating not really to have a gun. He's going to be on the clash, trying to slow down the take here, but the take's already practically been done. I mean, they have all the entry kills that they possibly need. They continue to tack on. Mark's now down, joining his friend Laxing. They haven't died yet, but their blood is definitely rushing out of every orifice. But Fox to tag back, Balros to trade, and this is just looking rough overall for Rec on their defensive half so far. Foxy to drop off. He's going to have to try and clutch up, but now he's able to pick up his friend Lax. They didn't realize that he had dropped down to Piano, so it is still going to be a 3v4. They don't have enough map control in order to plant now, though. They do have yellow control as well as bathroom, but they need to try and pick a site here. Skies controls projector. This is more than likely going to be a console take.
Pinged out inside of the bathroom now will be Polos. He puts Skies on 10. He's on 5 himself. The smoke will go out, choking him off. Foxay with the SMG9 will get 1, but traded out in there goes Barros to close it out. On to Skies. We're back within 1. NIP not looking to go down without a fight.
Reciprocity, this is going to be causing a lot of concern back home. I can definitely tell you that. North America's definitely going to be worried going into tomorrow if they're able to win out here, because Na'Vi looked so incredible earlier today against Wildcard in such a close game. Again, if you guys did not watch any of the other maps today, definitely go back, make that a point to go back and watch, because my Christ, man, were they incredible.
Well, Reciprocity have surrendered 2 consecutive rounds to NIP's aggression now, and the clash for Foxay, it looked like he was better off using the gun than the shield, really. It didn't quell a whole lot. The asphyxiating bolts doing a lot of damage to 3 members from Reciprocity that were all on top of each other under the default camera, right at the top of yellow stairs. Don't know what was going on there.
That was so weird.
They're going to go back downstairs to a defense of the basement this time, and they were pretty successful last time they defended this. It was their first defensive win. Let's see what they can do this time around. Really no roaming coming out from Reciprocity on this basement defense either, playing 5 on site and having some pretty good success with it. Really, the deepest roam was Laxing down inside of Archives, and he actually collected the kill onto Muzi as well as he tried to push downstairs. Again, with the Mira coming out from Mark as the Capitao is still coming out for NIP. We've got double hard breach as well, a Hibana and a Thermite coming out for the side of Ninjas in Pyjamas. And almost an exact same setup coming up. But Foxay on the side of Reciprocity as well. He's going to go to the Bandit instead of the Cade, or the Kaid, sorry. Just doesn't really want to deal with the TCSG right now. An MP7, 3-speed, and he's still got a Nitro Cell and the ability to trick the wall. You're feeling pretty confident with that, especially with a Thatcher being banned.
Yeah, very dangerous operator on the defense that isn't talked about too much is Bandit. That MP7 is arguably the best SMG in the game with its damage margin and rate of fire, and practically no recoil. Makes for a very, very good weapon. Throw in a Nitro Cell and a few car batteries for your leisure, and all of a sudden you got a pretty fun op to play. Ninjas in Pyjamas, though, going to have all of the vertical control and more for their taking, as they now have literally everything in less than 40 seconds.
So here comes Pino once again, getting the top control. The Nitro Cell's integral to the defense for Reciprocity. They've been missing quite a lot, though. Not a lot of intel, as Foxay will whiff one. Mark has one pre-placed right above Foxay. He's got to avoid that, honestly. And he's got a kill hole waiting. Try and use some sound cues to prepare and better identify when someone will be on top of that Nitro Cell. The drone's on top of the bathroom hatch as well, going to spot, and Mark realizing that he's got to try and pull that back. The wall will get opened up with ease, as Foxay really never had a chance to try and bandit trick, as there's no roaming presence inside of Piano, no roam control needed for NIP, as it takes about a minute to open up the wall there and have all the top control you could ever really want. Muzi's going to be trying to hold flanks now from the Visa stairs. It's very common to rotate for a member of Reciprocity like Laxing or Foxay to go with these 3 speeds and try and take them upstairs to the Visa stairs and push their way across and clear out the Piano control that NIP will have. Pino sending down a frag grenade, but it won't connect them to any of the members of Reciprocity. And with about a minute remaining now, NIP need to condense into the bomb site, but still top presence reigns supreme as Pino will take down Foxay, but finally the Nitro Cell will hit from Mark to take down Pino.
Feels like he's had that Nitro Cell on that ceiling for ages. Retro telegraphed for the kill now, but can he confirm it? It's going to be a prone angle here for Ninjas in Pyjamas outside, specifically the Capitao that's continuing to dance with Fate, and Fate could possibly get twisted and a little bit gnarled if he peeks into the wrong bullet there. We do still have this full horizontal hold from Reciprocity. This is exactly what they were showing last time. Muzi to get the entry kill that's needed to start trying to get a diffuser down. Only 20 seconds remain. No Nitro Cell in the hands of the defense any longer. Laxing's going to have to try and go for a rotate here. Polo claims one. Barles will claim the other. Diffuser now in. Can he find the Claymore? He can. He also gets a kill as well, but Lax has a lot more work to do in order to stop this from an equalization mark, and it's not gonna happen. Ninjas in Pyjamas finding 5 rounds so far on Consulate, and Reciprocity, you might want to wake up.
3 rounds in a row for the Ninjas in Pyjamas, and suddenly the last remaining Latin American team with 2 substitutes, seeming like they are breathing life back into their run. Reciprocity surrendering 3 consecutive defenses, and that's a little worrisome there, as they've been rushed upon twice, and then honestly just a methodical round taking advantage of what was given to you. If no one's gonna roam and you're gonna play 5 on site, well, by all means, evade the Nitro Cells as best you can, get your top control, and fire on down through these floorboards. The flanks were held beautifully by NIP, quelling any opportunity for a rush upstairs and a clear across through the antechamber hallway and through the Zed Hall, and Laxing in a 1v4. He gets 1 for his troubles, but Barros downstairs with a pistol is all it takes to wrap it up. We stand at a 5-5 scoreline. It looks like someone has taken a timeout as the timer has stopped. I have no idea who took the timeout, but I'm sure we'll be informed momentarily. We also look like it's lobby defense coming out from Reciprocity.
I mean, the main thing right now is that they just need to play the map correctly. I mean, you're on the downstairs site, you just give up the entire mid floor. It's the only area that you need to be concerned about being able to hold down, at least for a while. You don't have to, you know, die on the hill, but you at least got to show face, possibly get a kill, and then rotate downstairs. Instead, they don't even put a single body, a single reinforcement, nothing to the mid floor, and then they expect it to work. That's not going to work. I mean, they have drones. They drone through, figure out the entire mid floor is clear, see that no one rotated upstairs. You have your mid floor, you have the soft destruction to be able to create every angle under the sun, and you have your round victory.
Well, for Reciprocity, the last time they defended this bomb site, it was, I can't even remember who it was. I think it was Psycho on Thermite, rappelling into piano windows alone, getting a kill onto Laxing after Lax got the opener onto Muzi, and then putting plant down and everyone for NIP holding for jump outs. I don't know if they're going to try and replicate that strategy. That's one that I don't think works twice in the same game against the same team, as I imagine Reciprocity to be ready and waiting. But their retake ability, honestly, shut down quite hard by NIP. They're on a bit of a run right now, and like we said, they're a bit of a streaky team when they're at full health or when they're not. Still able to string together quite a lot of rounds consecutively. Laxing going for a spawn peek, trying to take any damage off the member spawning police line. Or sorry, in towards gas station. None such will happen, as Muzi and Psycho will both quickly go towards this piano windows again. I'm starting to get worried they're going to try and run this back, and honestly the setup that NIP had last time, it was well thought out. I worry for Reciprocity here. Could this be 4 in a row?
Yeah, and then could the curse continue, Flynn? Could we be going to map 3? That's the real question. Can you do it with 2 supports in? I'm thinking not, but I've been proven wrong before.
We've seen weirder.
Yes, we have indeed seen weirder, and oh, almost a very nice kill by Pino. Laxing gets discovered back behind the pantry wall due to the skeleton key, and quite a bit of damage as he drops down the hatch.
Again, the roam clear is something that's been not really required for NIP, so I have trouble gauging where it's at right now, but they've done a good job of at least applying pressure from the windows without putting themselves in harm's way. You know, they're staying on the rappels, and it doesn't look like Reciprocity right now have any interest in jumping out. Hey, remember the last time they defended lobby, when every time they jumped out of a window, they were cut down by a member holding from Narnia of NIP, waiting for the jump. Laxing on about 40, but Skies will open things up onto Polo, though, as that pulse downstairs will get the opening pick. Pino still repelled up on the connector window now, waiting for anyone upstairs to make a poor rotation, but none such happening from Reciprocity. He'll hit the deck now, looking towards the antechamber windows. I'm sure NIP in the back of their minds are debating whether or not they should just send into the bomb site, but the pulse downstairs will have to be taken care of. A nice shot there from Pino onto Fox as he tries to challenge onto the anti-windows, and Sky's going to rotate up. I would rather keep that cardiac sensor and nitrocell downstairs if I were Rec.
Yeah, then you're going to be able to telegraph a lot of information to your team with that, but Skies is going to go all the way upstairs, gets a kill. Mark finds one with a pistol as well. That's going to be Lesion's secondary, and it's going to be all up to Muzi and Barros to try and keep the streak alive. Going to walk in through 2 goo mines, but he's still going to be able to get the kill, as apparently Mark could not hear him, which did not work out in his favor. Bringing it back almost to equalization here, but Retro shuts that thought down. It's all left up to Barros. One of the fill players here, the subs for Ninjas in Pajamas. Reciprocity has 3 members up. He doesn't have the diffuser in hand, but now he does. He has to try and go for this plant. Only 20 seconds remain. He does have some smoke bolts as well as some fire bolts as well. He's going to get a goo mine stuck in, and this is where it gets extremely dangerous. You have to go through this entire animation and then try and go for the plant. Is he just going to try and plant in the smoke? This is almost done, but it's not going to matter. It's going to be, I believe, Retro, yes it will, to shut him down on the Maestro.
Well, Reciprocity now put themselves on match point and series point. They stopped the bleeding, which is a weird thing I never thought I'd be saying about this matchup, especially for Reciprocity. But NIP, they show some resiliency. That round as well, you know, entering into the bomb site again, that's been an easy task for Ninjas in Pajamas. It's about playing after they can get a plant down. That's been a little more worrisome, at least on the attacking side. For Reciprocity there, you have a good response, you have a good bounce back, but now you stand on the precipice of elimination from the tournament here in Tokoname. No one expected you to come away with the win, but if you come away with the map, all you have to do is force OT here. It's a best of 3 from then on. certainly within the realm of possibility to force us to Clubhouse. We saw the upsets coming all the way down to the bitter end for wildcard against Na'Vi on Clubhouse, requiring 15 rounds. Realistically, Clubhouse is one of those maps that gives either team some level footing in terms of the defensive favor. If I'm NIP here, I still don't feel out of this. I feel like I still have one hell of a shot to push this all the way to the distance.
This has been a very streaky map overall. Both of these teams able to put together 3 rounds in a row, and that's why things have been so close so far. Reciprocity has the ability to shut it out here. It's going to be mid-floor, and it appears the kid gloves are off, Flynn, as this is actually going to be a full-on mid-hold.
Yeah, we got a Castle, a Vigil, a Maestro, a Jaeger, and a Smoke all coming out. So it looks like Reciprocity might break open the strat book for 1 round here to try and lock things out, and I wouldn't be at all shocked. Honestly, considering that overtime is the risk you play if you don't want to take this one seriously. So we're, again, defending in towards the basement, but we have some roaming presence. We are stalling out NIP in terms of their entry, in terms of their ease of access to opening up the garage panels. This is exactly what you want to see if you're a Reciprocity fan back home.
And this is going to be very scary for Ninjas and Pyjamas, but no, they're going to throw themselves right into the garage. Fox is going to get the first kill. They got to be able to recognize that it's out, and they will. Sky's going to find the secondary, but it's going to be Psycho to finally wake things up for Ninjas and Pyjamas as they're trying to fight their way back to the back end of White. Mark to trade things out, though. They still have the man advantage. It's going to be Pino as well as Polo to try and shut things down. We've only been through 50 seconds in this round. Polo to find one, but it's immediately going to get traded. It's going to be all up to Polo to try and win this out in a 1 versus 2. Fox already quite a bit of damage done to him. Retro's still going to be on max HP, and he's going to have all of those toxic babes, I do believe, except for 1 in his arsenal.
Trying to push down spiral stairs, and there goes Polo to put it down to the 1v1. A massive round here with still plenty of time remaining here for Polo. The only problem is the health disadvantage, about 25 to 100. Both 2 armors.
Uh-oh.
Smokes come down, laying prone, Retro waiting. All it takes is 2. The quick peek to bait out the shots, and Retro's gonna stand on up and spring through the rotation, knowing he has Diffuser, and knowing that Polo is low on HP and has to push on through. Reciprocity giving the calls off the cam that was not shot, pushing through the office hallway, slow peeking at crouch height. All it takes is 1, but Polo! The 1v3 for Polo and NIP keep themselves alive. We're gonna push to overtime.
Oh, Retro, my friend. Just a little too antsy there, was a little too nervous. You can see it. Those dancing shots don't work too well on land when you try and go for those information peaks. It's something that a lot of pro players have talked about. You really can't perform those well on land because of the ping, but it works out this time around for Polo. He baits just enough, and Retro bites the bait every single time, and he's able to telegraph his location inside of Kitchen because of it, winning out that gunfight.
That was a 5v3 and a 4v2, and then I think a 2v1? Yeah, 3v1 there for a minute, or half a second really. But Polo completes the comeback. NIP come back from 3 separate man disadvantages of at least 2 members to pull back the round. And you gotta be feeling pretty good right now if you're an NIP fan. If you're a Reciprocity fan, now you're feeling a little more tense. So it's gonna be Reciprocity on the attacking side now, heading into overtime as we begin round number 13 on Consulate. This is not something I anticipated, but like I said, heading in, NIP, little more familiar territory than Coastline.
This is just a really big issue for Reciprocity. I think you pulled the book out just a little bit too late. You might be in very treacherous waters. Instead of going to bed at a decent time for your match tomorrow, you might be going to map 3. And that could be very rough. It currently sits at 11:33 at night, and we still have to complete this game. People still have to go home, do some VOD review, get warmed up for tomorrow. It's just not the best seat to possibly be sitting in. Reciprocity now, though, on the overtime end of things, we'll be starting off on the offensive side, which means Ninjas and Pyjamas will be playing a maximum of 2 defensive rounds, and Reciprocity will be playing a maximum of 2 offensive rounds.
Mark getting back on the Ash here, so we're going back to the role swaps that Reciprocity were bringing out when they were getting a little more aggressive, when Mark was entering the building with Skies, and They were trying to conduct some entry kills within the first minute, which has been the most conducive strategy to success for Reciprocity in terms of their attacking rounds. And waiting for any rotations. This has been the waiting game from Reciprocity, is sitting on repels, waiting for NIP to move. The problem is, again, we talked about it before, Reciprocity need to force it to happen. You cannot just sit and wait outside forever. It's only been a minute, so I'm not too stressed right now about Reciprocity's attack. And one of my big worries, though, is they are attacking towards the top floor bomb site. They've had some difficulties on the repels, dealing with jump outs and really just not ready for NIP to get aggressive. The drone will spot out that the bathroom wall is soft here from Foxay, and it does have a rotation, but nobody playing inside of bathrooms. So a dangerous proposition to be played here for NIP, leaving that access open. That's such a wonderful angle to have. If you could get someone inside of the bathroom, you are golden. One member playing lower on the yellow stairs, though, as Skies and Foxay are both in the yellow window repel, and Mark is not looking down towards the bottom yellow door. Oh, this could be a recipe for disaster if whoever that is elected to go for a jump.
Could be absolutely terrifying. Ninjas and Pyjamas are also poised at the bottom of yellow as they continue to just wait out. Laxing's actually going to get a kill from all the way upstairs. That'll be Polo, who was such a clutch player the last time around, but he'll be the opening frag for this first round of overtime. Yellow control now in the hands of Reciprocity if they've swung in. Foxay still has one frag grenade challenging back and forth with the door. They need to get this bathroom, but Moosey's been downstairs as well. Reciprocity is starting to take control, but it's going to be Pino to take down Foxay. And all of a sudden, Reciprocity doesn't have what they need in order to get a diffuser down. There's not much map control in their hands. They still really only have yellow, and the diffuser's in the hands of Retro. Where even is Retro? That's going to be a challenge up the yellow stairs. Skies downs the other one as well. He'll be able to confirm Moosey here in just a second, but doesn't even do that. He's going to get shot through the bathroom wall as Barraz continues his reign of terror with that Alda. Mark to be able to confirm Moosey. That was a man that was down. Challenged into long hallway, but they have to get this plant down now, though. Retro has to stick this, and Mark has to be able to play Overwatch. It's all left up to Barraz. Can he get this initial kill to start us off? We're into the OT. Will he bail out the window? No, they're both going to stick inside. This could be very, very dangerous. They're both on practically one shot here, all except for Mark, who can take quite a few more. Has to reload that Alden now, though, and it's such a long reload sequence. That timer's almost at half. He needs to confirm both of these kills quickly. A pre-fire to the desk does not find Retro. He continues to try and find him, but accuracy through volume not working out. Challenges to the side. Does he know where he is now, though? He goes for the kill, but he can't even get it. Retro to win it out for Reciprocity.
You can see the looks of determination right now on the faces of Reciprocity as they know they've screwed up. They know they had that last round, that was theirs. Such huge man advantages over and over and over and over and over again on that last round and many rounds throughout this game. They're getting a little lackadaisical. They're getting refocused now. That round there, again, that's NIP jumping out to their inevitable demise. This has been the same strategy for Reciprocity the entire time. Sit perched up somewhere, either on a window or on a rooftop, wait for the jump. Keep rinsing and repeating until NIP lose the game. It was when NIP discovered that, hey, if we don't move, we don't die, that they started picking up some rounds. But again, trying to take a more aggressive stance, feeling the momentum as well for picking up a lot of those rounds in the defensive set. Just unfortunate here for NIP. They now stand again on the precipice of elimination from Tokoname. We've seen them win 3 rounds in a row. Can they win 2 rounds in a row? They'll be on the attack to try and salvage their run here in Japan, or it'll be Reciprocity locking things out as we all expected them to, just a little bit longer than I think many anticipated.
I mean, even if you go out in this manner, you still have to be able to walk home with your head held high. I mean, you push Reciprocity all the way to overtime on the second map. You didn't even assume that there really was going to be a possibility of OT. You thought you were maybe going to get 4 rounds just off of some errors that Reciprocity made, and all of a sudden you're here. You can push this to map 3. It is within the realm of reach. Reciprocity now, though, on the defensive side, need to reach into that bag just one more time in order to put that nail in the coffin.
I think the difference maker is sending Laxing on the roam. Stop trapping him on site down inside of Archives.
That's just not Lax.
He's having no effect on the round, and he's not being successful on the flanks until it's way too late. No, he's flanking after diffuser's planted. Laxing is at his best when he has mobility and freedom. You take him off the leash, you let him run around, he'll get you some picks, he'll waste a lot of time on the clock, and NIP won't have an entry. They will not feel confident pushing into the bomb site or even Piano for top control.
Well, I mean, we remember times from, well, practically a year ago now at this point where Laxing was playing Thatcher. We're going, why do you have this man on Thatcher? Give him something that he can really frag with. And we've seen him, especially on the offensive side, shift over to these more aggressive operators in the likes of IQ and things along those lines that have really just given him this power of entry and power of roam. And he's been so successful with it throughout both of the Pro League seasons for this last year. And just overall, it's really brought Reciprocity alight with his aggressive playstyle.
Well, attempted entry shut down. Laxing on the roam like we called for. Muzi meets his maker, as well as Polo as he tried to push in through Yellow Stairs. Sky's got him to shreds with that TCSG. Pino alone right now in the locker's hallway. Well, Skeleton Key opened the kitchen door. 2 going for the peak now as lots of damage done to Pino and not a lot done in return. Laxing awaiting at the top of the Visa Stairs to condense on top of Pino in tandem with a pinch from a teammate inside of the bomb site, as there's still about 90 seconds remaining here for the attackers of NIP to work their way out of this tricky situation. But being on elimination point, Reciprocity want to wrap this one up with a nice little bow. Waiting for a flank to come in from behind, and it's well possible. Foxay was also on the top floor as the Vigil, but instead he'll be inside of the bathroom waiting for a push to come in through the main lobby. None such coming just yet from Ninjas in Pyjamas.
Here's that Foxay was trying to get on top of the toilet inside of the stall area.
No way.
Are you kidding? Oh no. Well, is it only on our end? I'm trying to see if the players are still playing. It looks like the ref is reaching inside of his pocket, so I'm going to assume that that is an error that's happening. And yeah, Retro, head in hand, going, yep, that was our round to win. And talk about timing.
So we're going to go to a tech break as, yeah.
Server just died for a second.
Pretty sure the server died. So for NIP, they still stand on the precipice of elimination. We will wait for an admin ruling. I don't think they're going to call the game on that, so we're going to replay that most likely. Again, we'll await the admin decision, but there's usually never a situation of them giving the team the round. So Reciprocity will have to try and run that one back. They were at the 5v3 advantage with Pino being low on HP as well, but it looks like we've got a little bit of a delay to wait through as we try and set up the lobby and get all the players back in after the server had died. So it's an unfortunate situation here for Reciprocity, but you're still on match point. You still feel confident with your position. I imagine they're going to force them to run back the same bomb site, same ops, but you never know. They might allow some freedom. I don't know. Got to wait for the admin call on that one as well. For NIP, learn from your mistakes. You just got gifted. For Reciprocity, try and run back exactly what you just did and replicate your success. It was working well, like we said. You let Laxing off the leash. You let him have some fun. Things go well for you if you wreck.
Yeah, and I think that just really shows what we're going to be seeing tomorrow once we get through this game. It just, again, crappy circumstances for both of these teams now. And yeah, Ninjas and Pyjamas just kind of wants this to be done at this point, more than likely. And again, it's just crappy overall for everyone. Reciprocity not showing literally anything. Ninjas and Pyjamas, though, finding some successful and creative rounds like we saw in their lobby take. That was a lot of fun. We didn't assume that it was going to work out, but it ended up, working out. Got a plant down inside of Piano, had the angles outside that they needed to be able to confirm that, and all of a sudden, we're on OT.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, while we're rebuilding the lobby and getting everyone back in, we're going to send it over to Kassan and the boys on the desk to break down the 13 rounds that have transpired so far on Consulate.
Thank you very much, Flynn. And Stokes, I guess we are back here from our matchup. Even the server died at the end of this one. So that kind of tells you something about the game that's going on so far. I have to say, gentlemen, NIP, they have, honestly, outplayed every single expectation we've had coming into this. We'd said every single round you take is a victory in its own, and they pushed them to overtime on map 2, a map Consulate that Reciprocity should be very comfortable on.
No pressure, just play out of your brains, have some fun. These guys, they're on loan for the weekend, these Spaniards, and who was it, Polo? Yep. 1 versus 3 to take us to OT. We were all packing up. We thought, all right, time to go home. No, Polo's not having any of it.
He didn't take that long flight just to give up there.
Yeah, you don't fly from Spain all the way to Japan. You're like, you know what? I'm just going to land this morning, go in, play a game, and then just go home. Not even go to...
I mean, let's be fair. Every single loss we saw Reciprocity take, it got a little bit more serious, a little bit more serious. After that clutch, they looked broken.
So glad we got the face cams.
Yeah, like there was no fun to be had on that side anymore.
Reciprocity, they've stuffed up.
And
it's damn awkward.
You could see it on Sky's face.
Yeah.
Every single time something's happening, you saw he got a kill the Cloud right at the entrance of Yellow in Garage, and he's like yelling at the team to kind of all get into better.
Same when Laxing is left in the clutch. He's like, guys, what
the hell?
Reciprocity, they hit a new peak at Six Invitational. Defeating the NIP was part of that journey. Since then, they unfortunately have failed to qualify through a lot of their online leagues. Only barely made it here on round head-to-head with Evil Geniuses. This isn't the Reciprocity that anyone wanted to see.
And I mean, you said a fun thing. They got 11 rounds last time they played against Reciprocity, and they're currently at
9.
Yeah, 9.
They're almost performing as well as they did last time when they had their full roster.
Yeah, we're 2 rounds off them doing it as well as they did last time, which is, I mean, that would require we get into another map, but...
Surely not at this point. Reciprocity, this has been an embarrassment for them, and they just want to close it out because, I mean, I'm assuming Reciprocity is going to win this series. Surely that's going to happen, and if that's the case, they've got to go against Na'Vi tomorrow. Na'Vi are no pushovers. We've seen how hard they fight today, and Reciprocity, it's getting to them right
You play like this against Na'Vi, you're going to get shot.
Yeah, that's not going to be a pretty match.
My question is, if Reciprocity make it through, is Reciprocity going to get as many rounds against Na'Vi as NIP in a 3 out of 5 core roster has gotten against Reciprocity?
That's a yikes. I mean,
someone's got to say it.
So when if they end up winning this, what do you do then? It's fairly late. Do you sit down and like talk through all of this, or do you just go nap and then you wake up in the morning and you hope that things have just magically ironed out, you're all in a good mood, you're ready to fight? Because right now they don't look like they're ready for anything else.
There's got to be one thing on your mind right now. That's go home, go to sleep, forget about this match, this never happened. Play your semi-final against Na'Vi tomorrow.
You have to think Hope's Reciprocity's coach is right now really feeling the pressure because, as you said, it is definitely getting late. I mean, we're 15 minutes away from midnight here, and it really gets difficult when you want your players to go to sleep. You're also exhausted because you're kind of helping them through the day, but you have to prepare. You have to watch the VODs. You have to make sure everything's set for them, for you to get some rest and as well go through all of these VODs, all the cream of all of that crop overnight to talk through things with your players. They can't be as comfortable as they came in today.
And not only is it after midnight, or getting towards midnight for us right now, that's Japan time. These guys only flew in a couple of days ago. It's early morning in North America right now. It's about the time they wake up. And we need to see Reciprocity wake up so they can go to bed, play a semi-final tomorrow.
Look, man, the sea, well, the ocean at this point is just a few minutes walk. I think somebody has to grab a bucket.
I think a little bit would be fine, yeah. It's, I mean, on the other hand, I guess if you're NIP, damn well done. It's nice that you didn't give up. I think many people in those shoes would have thought, you know what, we're not gonna make it. We're gonna mess around, do something fun. But like even the rather overly aggressive rushes they did led to Polo's clutch, and it's not like they're completely out of sync or anything. They aren't just doing dumb stuff to maybe make it work. Like they're actually fighting kinda head to head.
Right now, NIP want it more than Reciprocity. That's what it looks like. And this is a giant billboard for these two Spaniards. Do they want to head into Pro League?
I mean, look,
this is the best platform to showcase your talent.
Polo never got to really play in Pro League Battles. Last time he played on land, that is not the Spanish Nationals, because he did play with Giants really consistently.
Giants.
Well, this is their Giants Spanish team. It's like a double layer thing for the squad. But last time he played was my first ever event. It was Year 2 Season 1. And it was back in G-Bots for people that remember all the way back in the day. and they made it to the semifinals in that tournament. Nobody could believe it. Finally, a Spanish team made it to the event, and they got to the semis. That was, I guess, defeating Flipside. If you remember Zilchi back in the day.
Let's do some mental gymnastics just
Go
for
ahead.
Let's assume they win now, and they go on to win the whole thing. Very unlikely. Let's just say it happens. You got two people that got flown in on game day that gets to be champions out of the blue while not really being part of the team and not even being from that region. Like, that's an insane possibility.
How do you get your money? Do you get reais?
I have no idea.
Is this actually the first time? So we've seen Sonics, right? It was a big deal when Sonics announced that they brought in 2 EU players and flew over, joined a North American team. We had a North American European Union. It was pretty beautiful. This is the first time we're seeing a Latin American European team. Can we even, if let's say NIP win this game, win the tournament, whatever, is that a Brazil victory? Is that, or is that a mix?
3 out of 5.
3 out of 5. We'll count it as core.
All right, gentlemen, maybe this will be the end. Who knows? Let's go back to the casters. Flynn, Stokes, go ahead.
Thank you very much, Kassan. Welcome back in, ladies and gentlemen. Looks like we're ready to get things back underway. And of course, it's a replay of the round. It's a full-on rehost, but we will go. Same site, same ops. Reciprocity in the exact same situation they were in last time around. They did have the 5v3 man advantage with Pino on low HP, and now they have to reset it to 5v5. Again, it looks like they're going to keep Foxy and Laxing off the leash. They're going to let them roam wherever they well please. And that's the best way to run it when you're Reciprocity on Consulate. That's when they have the most success.
And I think this is a time to just highlight that little asterisk is in the rulebook of when this happens. You have to play the exact same site. You have to play the exact same operators. So you're still going to dedicate yourself to the Vigil as well as the Jaeger for Fox and Lax. And we're going to see that duo that we know so well inside of North America that is so dominant on their roam games. And we'll have to see if it works out for them this time around. Last time it was definitely seeming like it was all over. They had a very successful roam. Laxing got his kill on admin stairs, and it seemed like that was all she wrote right up until we had that server crash.
Well, like I said, if you're NIP, it's a fresh start. You got gifted one. Take it and run. If you're Reciprocity, run it right on back. Just try and replicate your same success. A lot of roaming potential here for Reciprocity once again. You've got the barbed wire at the top of the spiral stairs and Laxing again. He's unleashed in towards admin right now. Could go just about anywhere he damn well pleases, and he'll drop down Spiral actually. Get caught on the drone there, so Barrow's good intel gathering. We'll see if he can relay that to the majority of the team. But he's going to head all the way back down to the basement. I don't like that for Laxing, but at least you still have Foxy upstairs in the bathroom to, again, stall out an entry for NIP. That's what we've always talked about, is stop giving NIP map control for free. Stop letting them get into bathroom, because you're, at that point, just banking on nitro cells. And without actual intel inside of Piano, you are guessing. Stop leaving your rounds up to guessing, start taking action to try and push yourself over the finish line.
Yeah, at that point, it's just a gambler's game. Do they walk across the trap that I have waiting for them underneath? Can I get the sound cue right? Does that work for me? And a lot of the times it didn't for Reciprocity, so now that they're trying to go for the gunfights instead, they found a lot more success. Ninjas in Pyjamas playing a lot slower than they did the last time around. They walked into the trap that Reciprocity had laid for them in that roam game. They assumed they were going to be playing the exact same way they've been playing throughout this entire matchup so far, which was slow and steady, give up complete map control, and just turtle on site, hope for the best.
Interesting that Barros is the man carrying the diffuser right now as the Capitao, going for a bit of an entry into the building as well. It's risky. I'd rather have that on Psycho as the Thermite, a little more typical. Ooh, Kai trick. Nah, Polo's going to snipe that one. So nice shot there from the Zofia to spot out the Electric Claw heading to the wall. Oh, just about 60 seconds now tick away as we stand at the 5v5. And all 5 members of Reciprocity have collapsed back to the bomb site. We've seen this time and time before again. And it's usually been the Ninjas in Pyjamas winning out these trade battles, especially when Laxing is stuck in the server rack inside of Archives. Worrying about a wooden barricade on their backside, but it looks like Reciprocity want to lock this out. The first smoke grenade will go out with 40 seconds remaining. It's perfect timing for Retro to stall for an entry into the breach, and Barros is going to need to go for a plant soon.
Well, Toxic Babes now being allocated from Retro, and he could waste enough time in order to wait for a rotation from the other members of Reciprocity, and it seems like that was the game plan for them. Fox and Lax both trying to shove their way up the staircase, but we're going to have equal trades back and forth. Mark will actually end up on top with a double kill. They're going to continue to push it as Skies takes down Psycho. The diffuser isn't even down, only 10 seconds. Going to light up the toes, but Pino will actually get it onto barrels, or excuse me, onto pipes. Retro finds one. It's all left up to Musi, but it doesn't even matter. Reciprocity to win it out in OT. And that's going to be a 2-0 for the boys in orange and black.
Reciprocity, they set themselves a date with Na'Vi tomorrow as the second semi-final. The first one will be Aerowolf versus Dark Zero. Reciprocity obviously elated with the victory. It took a lot longer than I think many of us expected, but a beautiful performance by Ninjas in Pyjamas, given their circumstances, to be able to battle and put up a good fight here on map number 2. Map 1, bit of a wash. They needed to wake up and get used to playing with each other. Map number 2, they played a lot better now, and honestly, a well-fought game. They even got gifted that server crash there at the end, but Reciprocity takes the win, as they were well intended to do. Like the analyst has said, it's a lose-lose for Rec. You either win against a team you clearly should beat, or you lose probably one of the most embarrassing games of your lives. Exactly. For NIP, absolutely nothing to lose here for NIP. They didn't lose anything by participating in this game. They showed exactly what they could bring to the table given their circumstances with lack of visas. For Reciprocity now, honestly, I agree with the desk. They look shaky. That's an interesting situation between holding strats and still looking a little uncoordinated. But nonetheless, let's throw it to the stage. Let's have a conversation with Fox. Hey, Matt, take it away, bud.
Here on our stage, I have our last of the semi-finalists. Team Reciprocity, get there. Fox, congratulations. It's very late, so I want to get cracking on with this because I know you guys want to get some rest as well. You were in a bit of a difficult situation there. If you lost that, you know that would have been calamitous for you. Everybody would have never shut up about you losing to an understrength NIP. But I guess a win there was never going to feel very satisfying for guys like yourselves because you want to beat a full-strength team. Instead, you had a real fight just to win it at all.
Yeah, I mean, of course, either way we look at it, if we lose, we look like a joke, and if we win, I mean, it's an understrength NIP. So, you know, we just tried doing, we tried saving a little bit of strats and stuff just because we didn't want to do too much, and of course it's like really late for us. Originally we were supposed to be like second match, so, but yeah, the more days we are able to get rest, I mean, I think we'll be better suited for tomorrow. So yeah, we just kind of want to get through this match as lightly as possible.
But that was what I think everybody expected, is that it would be lighter for you. Obviously NIP, incredible performance from them. Thank you NIP for giving us such an amazing quarterfinal. Difficult circumstances with them having to bring in players at such late notice. They landed like a few hours ago to do that. You guys surely thought it was going to be a lot more one-sided in your favor.
I mean, not really. We knew going into it, whoever we played, it was going to be a tough match just because LATAM is really good at adapting, especially their 2 subs did amazing. They did really well just from getting off of a flight, so I guess we were both tired from the jet lag. So yeah, either way, I mean, I think we would have rather played their full roster, and yeah, I mean, we got out of it, so.
Do you feel like you got let off a little bit lightly and had, the guys, Julio, Kamikaze, if they'd been here, do you think you might actually have lost that thing?
From the last time we played them at Invite, the only change they made was picking up Musi, which he's a tremendous player, but, we played them at Invite and won 13 rounds in a row. Not to say that they're not a good team and they wouldn't have come back, but I think with their full roster, we would have been a lot more prepared playing their full roster rather than playing, subs and not really having any preparation to go off of, so, yeah.
I will let you go and get some rest. Good night, Fox. But first, we will go. Congratulations, ladies and gentlemen. Mene-san, our final semi-finalist is Team Reciprocity.